Okay, now you're going to take it. Okay, now you're going to run with it. You're going to take it.
Stella, Splash, Simba, Boo, Sammy, Richard, Nancy, Goldie, Ziggy, Ringo, Eva, Hydrox, and Ditto, the Lucky Ferals.
It's 7:38 a.m. Here's Splash. Hey, Splashy. Good morning. Here's Simba. And here's Boo. And it is raining out. And it is cold. It's only in the 30s right now. And I relaxed in bed a little bit this morning. I got home last night in the evening. And I had plenty of time to scoop all the cat litter, give the cats fresh water. And I also gave them some canned food because they've been eating out of their feeders. This is the food that I put out for them yesterday. So it was 2 types of canned food. It was some tiki cat sardines in lobster consomme. And then it was also, I think, some kind of Friskies. Oh, Friskies, turkey and giblets, shreds. And then there was crunchies in these 2 coffee filters. And they also still have crunchies in some of the feeders. The snack feeders are still out, and there are still some crunchies in the snack feeders. So when I got home yesterday, there was still a lot of crunchies in their meal feeders. I don't know, they didn't really eat their meals that much, but they also had crunchies in their snack feeders. I just wanted to make sure that they had plenty of food. And also when I left like some plates of food and then some crunchies like this. So it's kind of a good thing that they didn't eat everything, because if they ate everything, it would have been too much. So it shows that they have self-control when it comes to crunchies. And when I got back, like all the food that I had out for them was gone. So they had been eating off of that. I had only been gone for 36 hours, so it wasn't bad. But it was the first time that I've been away in months, like since Stella passed away. And when I got home, there was some crunchy vomit in the hallway, and then there was crunchy vomit in Boo's room. But the crunchy vomit in Boo's room also had a hairball in it. Hello, Boo. You're rolling around like a happy boy. Happy boy, Boo. And then downstairs, the Lucky 7 like really enjoyed their crunchy feeder, and I gave them some canned food overnight also. I don't know if they ate it, but I just gave it to them as an option if they want it. Let me tell you what happened while I was away. So I got to see one of my friends that I haven't seen since like last year, probably like 4 months ago. And I was talking to her about like what happened to Stella, what happened to Sammy, and we were just discussing it. And I was telling her, don't go to this emergency room for animals, like this veterinary emergency room. There's one near you. There's several of them on Long Island. And I was just telling her, just avoid it if possible. And I told her the reasons why. And she told me that she had taken her cats there in the past. And then she told me about what happened to one of them. So she used to have 3 cats. And then over the years, 2 of them passed away. And she's down to 1 cat. And I remember when the other 2 passed away, like she told me about them. And, it was really sad. And I had sympathized with her because, I'd been through Hydrox passing away and Ditto passing away, and it's never easy. But I didn't really know all of the details about what happened to the first one of hers that passed away. So she was telling me that she actually took it to this emergency room, the same chain that Stella was brought to. And they did an exam on her cat. And she said that several red flags went up when her cat was there. One of the things that she mentioned was that when they were examining her cat, she felt like they were being way too rough with her cat. Like normally when a cat goes in for a vet exam, like the vet will like palpitate their body. The vet will take his or her hand like underneath the cat's body like this and feel like their organs. You know, they'll feel like the kidneys, the bladder, stuff like that. Like they'll usually get behind the cat. They'll usually get behind the cat and then put their hand like up and under there and feel the organs. Well, she was telling me that when they were doing that, she was like, why are you being so rough with my cat? She said that they were like really jabbing her cat. And she was like thinking to herself, that's not the way you're supposed to do that. Like, don't be rough with this cat. Now, she said her cat was a little bit overweight at the time. So she said like, you know, they were trying to feel the organs maybe through a layer of fat, but at the same time, you know, it raised a red flag because like, you know, don't be so rough with my cat. So for it to raise that red flag with her, like they must have been really rough with her. And then they said that her cat needed fluids and they gave her cat fluids and they gave her cat more than like 200 milligrams of fluids. And at the time, that did not raise a red flag with her. But what happened was, a few days later, she ended up bringing the cat to like the normal vet for another exam. And what happened was the vet that she went to said that, you know, you're not supposed to give more than 100 milliliters of fluid at a time. And when she heard that, that was like the next red flag. She was like, wait a minute. They gave her like more than 200 milliliters in the emergency room. So that was a concern. Here's Simba. And then what happened is that her vet found out that her cat was accumulating blood around her heart, like, or around her organs. So I was like, oh, that's what happened to Stella. She was accumulating fluid around her lungs. And she's like, no, it wasn't fluid, it was blood. She said that she was, I forget the term, but she was taking some of the liquid out and it was definitely blood. And that's when my friend realized that, well, wait a minute, maybe this is a result of how the cat was being, you know, too aggressively handled in the emergency room because, you know, outwardly the cat was fine and, you know, the cat should have been fine. And like, where was this blood coming from and why was the blood there? So it was kind of a mystery. And what happened was she ended up having to put the cat down. When I heard this, and I know she gave me more details than I'm relaying here, but at the time I was just kind of, there was a lot going on and I was trying to process everything that she was telling me and I was kind of in shock and disbelief. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? You're talking about the same exact company, but like years earlier. These harmful business practices have been going on for years, that kind of stuff. So it was just really sad. And at the same time, I didn't want to say anything that was going to make her feel like worse about what happened to her cat. And also my head was just kind of trying to process this, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, like, what are the chances that you are going to tell me about what happened years ago to your cat? Like, I know that she lost this cat, that her cat had passed. I just didn't know all the specifics about like where she took it and all the details which she was telling me about. So, I mean, what are the chances of that? Like, what are the chances of that I'm going to know somebody else who had like a similar experience where she brought her cat to this emergency room and then, you know, days later she takes it to her normal vet and her normal vet's like, well, it has this problem and, you know, it's not going to be able to survive it. And the problem was most likely brought on by that emergency room. So I feel like I'm just uncovering more and more information. So then what happened was yesterday, the day after I had this conversation with her, I was still out on Long Island and there are a few locations of this emergency room out there. So I said, you know what, I'm going to do more research and get more evidence. So I went to 2 locations And I picked up all the business cards so that I could research these vets and see when they were licensed and how much experience they have. And at the second location that I went to, they had a blackboard. Now, usually, I don't know if all these locations do this, but I know some of them do this. They'll have like a board on the wall. It'll say which doctors are like on duty, and then it says which nurses are on duty. But this blackboard I noticed also said which assistants are on duty, and then it had like something underneath that. I don't know if it was like secretaries or like receptionists or what, but I know it definitely had doctors, nurses, and assistants. So I said, I'm gonna ask about this. So I asked the receptionist. I said, I was kind of playing ignorant, and I said, so on this board here, this is who's on duty right now? She's like, yeah. And I said, so these are the doctors, which means the vets, and then where you say nurses, is that the vet techs? And she's like, yeah. And I said, are those licensed vet techs? She says, like, I believe so. And I said, well, who are the assistants? I said, are the assistants licensed also? Are they licensed vet techs? And she didn't know. So she says, you know what, I'm going to have someone come out and answer those questions. It's a good question. So then it appeared that one of the vet techs came out to talk to me because I believe her top had her name that said vet tech on it. So I was asking her, and she was like, yeah, all of our vet techs are licensed. And then I was like, well, what about the assistants? And she's like, well, they're usually in school to be a vet tech. So they're usually, not licensed, but they're in school to be licensed, which to me means you have people working here that really don't have proper experience, proper licensing, and I don't think that they should be working in an emergency room. I mean, this is not just like a regular vet where people are taking animals for checkups. I would understand that. So say you have a regular vet, people are coming in for routine checkups, then okay, if you want to have an assistant there who's training while they're in school, then that's one thing. But when you have an emergency room where people are coming in because they need emergency care for their animal, you should not have people working there who not only don't have experience, but who are not licensed to at least be a vet tech. I'm sorry, you should not. This is like a critical care unit. You should not have people working there who don't have experience. So I feel like I got more evidence out of that. I also recorded the conversation. So I have that as evidence. Let's see what's going on downstairs. So there's still quite a bit of the canned food that I gave them last night. That's fine. And this is their automatic feeder. I shut it off last night, but there's still some crunchies on these trays. They ate all the crunchies, so this has to be cleaned up later. Good morning, Sammy. Good morning, Nancy. Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Ziggy. Let me show you what my friend gave me. So this is a piece of art. It's actually a jigsaw puzzle that she had put together. And then they mounted it on a board. And Sammy's checking it out. And it's really cool. It says, it's the ladies who don't love cats that are crazy. And she had showed this to me. She showed me a photo of this, like when she was working on it. And I was like, oh, that is so cool. I love that saying because, I just hate how people who have cats are always vilified and, people call them crazy. So I thought it was really cool. So she gave this to me and I'm going to hang it up down here for the lucky 7. And what I'm thinking is I might start a wall of cat art because I do have quite a bit of cat art and I might start hanging it on a wall, making like a grouping of it. But it would have to be on a wall where, the cats don't jump up. I'm not going to hang it on this wall. It would have to be on a different wall. Sammy, what are you doing? What are you doing? Don't scratch it. 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 That's art. Don't mess up my art. Get off. Get off. I still have a nail in this wall, so I just hung it here. I think it looks really good here. So here's Sammy's wheel. There's the feeders. And then this is right above the feeder. It's 12 p.m. Look at what's going on here. That's Nancy and Richard, but there's another cat there also, underneath the papers. This is a new weekly thing that I do that the cats love. So we get like local advertising, like store flyers once a week in a little neighborhood newspaper. And I take the flyers and I put them here on the rug, and the cats enjoy like playing with them, laying on them, and tearing them up. And Sammy's laying underneath them. And this is Nancy and Richard. I don't know what they're doing. It is 10 a.m. Here's Simba. He's eating his breakfast. He almost ate his entire breakfast today, which is great because recently he's only been eating like half of his breakfast or like a little bit more than half of his breakfast, and then having some crunchies later. But I feel like today we're finally starting to get back to like a normal routine. The cat's routine was so disrupted because of, what happened with Stella, but then also with what happened with Sammy. And, what happened with Sammy went on for weeks and weeks and weeks, and that really disrupted everything. Here's Boo. He's eating on this cat tower. Sometimes he likes to eat on these cat towers. I don't know why. But he's actually eating the raw food that I gave him this morning. He has only been wanting to eat canned food recently. He wants to eat canned food and crunchies. And the canned food that I give him, like he wants it to be really soupy or gravy. Like he wants the canned food that has a lot of gravy. And then he licks all the gravy and then leaves everything else. And then what I have to do is I have to put everything else in like a mini blender with some water and make like a puree with it. And then he'll eat that. But he eats the dry food, no problem. And also if I give him chunks of raw beef, he eats those without any problem. Like he'll eat plain chunks of raw beef, no problem chewing it, nothing like that. He'll eat the crunchies, no problem crunching away on them, even though we do know that cats swallow the majority of the dry food that they eat whole. But he's just been really fussy with his food lately. But today he did eat some of the raw food. Maybe he ate half of what's on the plate. Let's go check. Look at this. Look, Boo, you did so good, Boo. Look, he ate almost all of his food. Almost all of it. You did so good, Boo. What a good boy. So today, when I made their homemade food, this is turkey and chicken, a blend of turkey and chicken. It's homemade raw food. But then when I mixed it up for them, I added a hard-boiled egg, which I put through a food grinder. And then I also added half of a can of sardines, so they get their omega-3s that way. And I think maybe that's why Boo really liked it, because he's been eating a lot of sardines lately. It's 10:41 a.m. That was Sammy. She just walked away. Now that's Goldie and little Eva, and they're watching Cousin Oliver eat breakfast. I put some food out for him. They like to watch him through the back door. And that is a screen door. Do you see there's like a white screen, and this was installed on the door, I don't know, a few weeks ago. And it zips all the way to the top, and there's the rest of it. It's rolled up on the top. So what you do is you unroll it, and then you zip it up all around the sides and along the bottom. As you can see, it goes all the way down there and then along the bottom. It has 2 zippers, and it works great for the cats so far. Every time I zip it up, they're pretty respectful of it. They don't try to like tear it down. They haven't tried to jump on it or climb it, as far as I could tell. Sammy has tried to like claw it. She needs it, but so far it's held up. So far, no one has been able to tear a hole in it. They've been respectful of it, especially when it is zip shut. And it's been working out great. I mean, it's definitely a really good alternative to putting up gates. Like, I used to put 3 gates in the door, so I would have gates all the way up so the cats couldn't get through. But to be honest, this is just it's really easy to use one of these. And they have different kinds. So I got this kind because I knew it, rolls up to the top. But they have another kind where it zips to the side versus, zipping top to bottom. It zips from side to side. And this is held on by Velcro. So it's really strong Velcro, and you put it on the screen door portion, and then you put that onto your door frame, and that's how it is mounted. So hopefully when I take it off, it's not going to rip off all the paint. I'm sure it's going to rip off a fair amount of it, but we'll see what happens. Right now, it's been working well, although sometimes I do forget that it's there and I forget to use it. And at night, I'll just shut the door. But the goal of this was to just use the screen door at night. So that way, the cats could see each other. So one beneficial effect that the screen door has had that I didn't even think about is it keeps them from banging on the door at night. So before the screen door was here, when the door was shut, they would be able to just bang on the door, they'd get their paws under it or bang on it. But now, because the screen is here, they can't do it, and they haven't been banging on it. So that is so helpful in helping me get better sleep, because they used to bang on the door around 4 a.m. Nancy especially. She'd be like, I want to come upstairs. And I'd be like, no, not ready. So I'm just going to ignore you banging on the door. And she'd bang on it for a good half hour or so. Hello, Goldie. How are you, Goldie? I'm cleaning up the kitchen from their breakfast. It's 3:30 p.m. Look at this. That's Simba. He's laying in these blankets. This is where I slept last night. My bedroom gets really noisy in the middle of the night. My neighbors have really loud cars, and at all hours of the morning, the cars have been waking me up. So I was I wonder what would happen if I slept in this room, if I would still hear the cars, because it's farther away. And I didn't hear the cars at all, which was great. But I was woken up 3 times by Simba, and 1 time by Simba and Splash. So it was twice by Simba and once by Simba and Splash together. But look at Simba now. He's all comfy. You're all comfy in the blankets? You're comfortable, Simba? You look so cute. You look so cute, Simba. I'm glad you're happy and I'm glad you're comfy. And look who else is in this room today. It's Boo. Hello, Boo. Boo was getting a drink of water in this room and Nancy was howling. So I was like, what's going on there, Nancy? And then she went away to play somewhere. And then I was like, Boo, you want to hang out in your room today? Because he loves his room. He hasn't been in here in a while. You want me to open the window more? So today it's sunny, but it's really cold. It's only like 43 degrees out. How you doing, buddy? Ooh, big stretch, big stretch. Your fur's so long. Your fur's so long, Boo. It's getting so long. The cats were brushed this morning and combed. Right? Okay, I'll leave it there so you could smell air. I'll leave it so you could smell air. It's about 4:30 p.m. and look what I have here. This is a spider. This is a new spider because I haven't seen any of Sammy's spiders for a very long time. I don't know what happened to her spiders. So when Grandma and Grandpa were in PetSmart a little while ago, they had a whole bunch of these. And I haven't seen these in any stores around here. So I said, pick me up like 6 of them so that I have extras. Because we go through them. So I'm going to give this new one to Sammy. And we'll see what she does with it. I'm going to leave it on the wand. But I'll leave it here with her. I fully expect her to take it downstairs. But right now, I mean, she's playing with it normally. Like in the past, when I've given her spiders like this, like she's just she's gone straight into killer mode. Like crazy killer mode. But right now, she's just enjoying it. All right, Sammy, you want me to give you a spider? Here you go. You could have this one, okay? That's a new spider baby for you, okay? You could have it. Okay? I have to go finish my work. These are some treats I just gave her. Okay, enjoy your spider. You don't want it? You don't want your spider baby? No? Okay, go get the spider baby. Go take her downstairs. Take her downstairs, Sammy. So it ends up if I walk around with the spider, then she goes crazy. Like, I was going to hang it here on this tree. It's like stuck on the tree now. Hold on. Hold on, Sammy. Let's get it unstuck. Okay, there we go. Okay, now you're going to take it. Okay, now you're going to run with it. You're going to take it. She just ran downstairs with it. It's 6:30 p.m. Look at this. So now Boo's laying on his day sofa. I haven't seen him on here in so long. How you doing, Boo? Here's Simba. And I need to shut the window. I need to shut the window because it is cold. And I just looked outside. Look at this. So the landscapers were here a little while ago this afternoon, and they put the cedar mulch around. Hopefully it's the right cedar mulch because last year I specifically requested the natural cedar mulch. The year before they gave me that really stinky, horrible stuff. So what they did was it looks like they moved the statue of Hydrox and Ditto out from where it was, and they moved my flower pots around and everything. I don't mind them moving stuff around. I just wish they'd put it back where it was. So I have to go check on the mulch later. It looks like the right mulch, and the fact that I don't smell that really horrible polluted stink from, the standard mulch makes me think it's definitely the natural stuff. But I've been editing a video for the past few hours, and super long video, but I want to make these vlogs, like the grief vlogs after Stella passed, as complete as possible. But what I would like to do, I do want to go out and run an errand or two, but I need to eat something before I do that. So that's why I said, let me get up, stretch my legs, eat something. Hopefully I'll make a salad, and then I'll be able to run out for a little while and then come back and feed the cats. It's 7:30 p.m. I just put a plate of food out. It's right there for Cousin Oliver, a.k.a. Ox. And the mulch Doesn't smell like cedar. Like I'm not getting a strong cedar aroma, but I'm also not getting like a really bad chemical aroma. So I think it's definitely some kind of natural mulch that they put down. I need to clean out the water bowl. It has some debris in it. It is so cold outside right now. It's only 40 degrees. And tonight it's going to get down to 30, which means I'm going to plug in the greenhouse heaters. I unplugged them for a while. I need to plug them back in because it's going to get really cold. Here's Sammy. She's so nosy. So her new thing to do in the afternoons is she lays on one of the kitchen chairs, and every single time I walk into the kitchen, she ambushes me for some kind of treat or food. Right, Sammy? Oh, here's Nancy. Hello, Nancy. Here's Boo and Simba. I just went outside and I cleaned out the water bowls and I put fresh water in the water bowls. Here's Boo. And I moved some stuff around. And what I realized is that it stinks like smelly chemical mulch outside. The reason why is because my next door neighbors got their mulch done the same day that I got my mulch done. I guess it's the day that the landscapers do mulch. So it stinks outside and I have a headache, and I was wondering why I started not feeling that great this afternoon. And I just I don't have a strong headache. It's like a mild headache, like discomfort, kind of in your head, like almost like a sinus pressure type thing. And I was wondering why, but now I know why. It's because of that stinky mulch outside. But I checked the mulch in my yard. Like I literally went to 2 different locations. I picked up some of the mulch and I smelled it. Now my mulch does not have the stinky smell. My mulch has no smell. But I specifically requested the natural cedar mulch, which should smell like cedar. Like last year when they put it up, the whole yard smelled so good. It all smelled like cedar. This year it doesn't, but at least it has like a natural smell. Like it has no smell, but my neighbors next door have the stinky chemical smell, which I'm not happy about. And that smell usually doesn't go away for several days. So not enjoyable at all, right, Simba? Tomorrow is supposed to be a little bit warmer than today. Like today got to be like around 43 degrees. Tomorrow's supposed to be maybe like 48. I was planning on sitting outside for a little while tomorrow because it's supposed to be sunny, but if it smells that bad, I don't know if I'll be able to do that. I don't know why I'm so sensitive to the smell of this like really stinky mulch, but I can't stand it. And that's the nice thing about like having my previous neighbors that never took care of their yards, because I never had to deal with that. But now, because I have neighbors that do take care of their yards, now I have to deal with these kind of things. It's almost 10 a.m. and here's Simba. Good morning, Simba. So the cats have had a few treats this morning. They got some multivitamin treats. And I'm vacuuming the house right now, and then they're going to have their breakfast. But I just found like the biggest hairball on the floor, almost directly below this cat tower. Now, I don't know if it was from Splash last night, because last night Splash was down there making the hacking hairball cough. And I was like, oh, I was rooting him on, actually. I was like, come on, Splash, get it out, get the hairball out. So it might have been from him overnight. I didn't hear anybody vomiting this morning. So I think it's Splash because Simba had a hairball the other day. And it is hairball season. And that's why I picked up the camera, because I just want to remind everyone that in the spring, the cats start shedding their winter coat and it becomes hairball season. So I've been brushing the cats pretty much every morning, and now's the time to be on the lookout for hairballs. Right, Simba? Simba says right. It's 10:36 a.m. and the cats are eating their breakfast. They're having homemade raw food. That's a blend of turkey and chicken. And they're getting a little bit of crunchies on top and some freeze-dried chicken. And what I remembered this morning is that I have not been replacing the Feel Away Optimum dispensers, like the diffusers. I normally have 2 or 3 of those up here. And I have not replaced those since prior to Stella's passing, because things have been just upheaval since then. So I checked them this morning and sure enough, they're all empty. So I went downstairs and I have some refills. So that's what I did. I just refilled the dispensers up here. So that should be good for the cats. It'll help keep them calmer. And I also plugged one in downstairs. And that'll be good for the cats downstairs, and we'll just see how everyone does. It's 11:30 a.m. and here's Splash, and Splash was laying on the bed a little while ago. So today, Splash and Simba are going to have a day in this room alone by themselves. The window's open. Here's Simba on top of the armoire. And something really interesting just happened with me and Splash. So Splash was laying on the bed, and I had the flea comb in the room. And I was like, I'm going to comb him because he doesn't let me brush him sometimes. But let me see if I could comb him while he's relaxing on the bed. Well, I combed him like better than I've ever combed him before. And he was like really enjoying it. And I felt like he wanted someone to cuddle with. Like, you know, he always used to cuddle with Stella. And I felt like maybe I could cuddle with him on the bed because, you know, he would be open to that. Because when I was combing him, he was like rolling around on his back, exposing his tummy. He really looked like he wanted to just like lay on the bed with me. But what happened was when I stopped combing him and I was like, okay, Splash, let's just lay on the bed together. And I put my arm out toward him because he looked like he wanted to rest his head on my arm. Like Boo loves doing that. Stella used to love doing that also. So I put my arm out toward him, and then I think he realized what was going on. He's like, oh, no, I'm too nervous for this. So then he jumped off the bed. But it was like the closest I've ever come. And I honestly think with some work, Splash might end up being like a cuddle bug. Maybe Splash is going to end up being like the biggest lap cat now. So we'll have to see. Anyway, here's Simba. He's on top of the armoire. He wants to have a little after breakfast nap. Okay, Simba, you could take a nap. It's 11:45 a.m. And I just gave Cousin Oliver a plate of food. That's some leftover food that the cats are not eating. Here he comes. And then I put some crunchies on top of it. Those are the ICYMI crunchies. Now he's eating it. So before, I just put the plate of food out and he wasn't too interested. Now he's going to eat it with the crunchies on top. I haven't seen him as much recently, but he's been hanging out on the patio today. Sometimes I think he's using the shelter underneath the house, the Rubbermaid shelter underneath the house, because I've seen him by the shelter a few times now. And I know he's used it in the past because there's been times where I've gone outside and I've seen him like run out of it, where he's been startled by something. So here's Sammy. She's been watching him. I wonder if she recognizes him from when she was outside. She better not even think about going outside right now. I have to make sure that door is shut. All right, it's locked. It's locked. You're okay, Sammy. You're okay. It's 7:45 a.m. Look at Splash. He's laying on the day sofa in Boo's room. It's so funny that the cats love laying here when I leave my blankets here. So this is like one of the waterproof pet blankets that I got several months ago at Costco. When I slept here 2 nights ago, or for part of the night 2 nights ago, I moved it along with this just, it's like a throw blanket. And there's another throw blanket there. And the cats love cuddling up in these blankets when I'm done with them. And here's Simba. And here's Boo. And Boo was super, super fussy with his dinner last night. Like, he didn't want what I gave the cats. And he also didn't want, like, the canned food that I gave him. And then he ate some crunchies. So it's been very challenging with Boo. And this is what happened last night. Now, I have to figure out a solution for this because Splash and Simba don't need to be eating extra food, but Boo needs to eat food. So in order for Boo to eat, what I've been doing is I've been leaving food out for him. So here in this cup is some crunchies that he ate last night. On this plate was cut up chicken with some crunchies. I think Simba ended up eating most of that over the night. This was some of the homemade food. This was the first bowl that I gave Boo for dinner because Boo likes extra water mixed in with his food. He likes it really soupy. I think Splash ended up eating some of that. This was some crunchies that I gave Splash last night. I don't know who finished that. That was either Splash or Simba. That was a little bit of raw food left over on Splash's plate. This is some canned food that I gave to Boo. He didn't want it. No one really wanted it. And then this is a little automatic feeder that I put a few crunchies in. And the cats get that like 2 a.m., 4 a.m. There's 2 compartments. And I've been doing that just so they don't wake me up in the middle of the night for food. And this has been working out great. And I know Boo's been eating some crunchies out of the feeders. But we got to figure out what's going on with him. I don't know if it's, grief over Stella. I'm still trying to get the cats back onto the regular routine. Want those? I don't know if he has a mouth issue again. So, I don't know. We got to see what's going on with him. I don't know if I'm going to have to start putting him alone in his room with food until he eats it. Today we have another rainy day, except today it's really cold. Can you see this? There's like snow. There's like ice and snow. So we're getting frozen precipitation today, which I'm not happy about. We've had like cloudy gray weather for several days now. I don't know if today's the last day or tomorrow, but right now it's raining. I could see it. The geese love this weather. The geese were sitting on the lawn yesterday when it was raining, so they don't mind. All of the cherry trees are starting to blossom. Are you okay, Boo? Are you okay, Boo? How are you doing, Boo? Okay, buddy? So Boo's not acting like strange, like his behavior has not changed. Yesterday, he seemed to be a little bit out of sorts, like a little bit grumpy. But I thought, well, maybe because, he didn't get enough sleep the night before. Because I checked the security cameras. And, he spends a good amount of time at night, like walking around and going from room to room and stuff. Also, I did put fresh Feel-Away diffusers out. And, that can have a very calming effect on the cats. There's one right now that's probably only like 3 feet away from him. So that could cause cats to be more relaxed than usual. I don't know, but we're going to see. I have to keep an eye on Boo, see what's going on with him. Sometimes he's been eating his meals. It just takes him longer because obviously he has teeth issues. Sometimes he eats half of his meal and then I'll give him a little canned food or dry food to round it out. But last night he was just super fussy. And this past week has been just really busy for me, and I'm totally feeling it today. I had to have my taxes done 2 days ago, and I had to prepare for that. And the day before, I had to prepare for that. So that was like 2 full days of taking care of that. So I've been practically anxiety-free this past week. I felt some last weekend when I was away. But then really since like Sunday or Monday, I've been like good. I haven't really felt much anxiety at all. Like, and if I did, it was only like a 1 or a 2 on a scale of 1 to 10. And it feels so good to be able to do things and be anxiety-free with regards to doing them. But in order to get me to that point, I had to do all kinds of vagus nerve exercises. When I say exercises, I don't mean physical exercises. I mean things to help strengthen my vagus nerve and reset my vagus nerve or stimulate it. That's what people are calling it. So I have a whole list of things that I need to make sure that I'm doing. Like, for example, getting enough omega-3s every day, making sure I'm fully hydrated, trying to stick to a good daily schedule where I'm making sure I'm getting enough sleep. And I could tell you for certainty, the past few nights I haven't been getting to bed until almost midnight. And I need to try to get to bed before 11, sometime between 10 and 11. So I need to work on that. I need to work on breathing exercises, cold therapy. There's just like a whole bunch of stuff. Boo's a happy boy. Boo, you're so happy. You're a happy boy. Oh, you got a hairball? So that's another thing. wondering about Boo. I'm like, well, maybe he has a hairball, because that's how Splash and Simba get when they have a hairball. They might not want to like eat their meals or finish their food. And it is hairball season, and I haven't seen Boo vomit up a hairball. I know Splash did, Simba did. I don't know if Boo has done that yet. And it's easy to figure out which hairballs are Boo because they're all black. All the fur is black. So I'm going to clean all of this up, and then I'm going to get ready for my day. I just put fresh batteries in their toy. This takes 3 C batteries. There's Nancy and little Eva. Nancy loves this toy, so does little Eva. And I've seen Ziggy playing with it, Goldie playing with it, Sammy. The girls really like it. Although I do have to say that even with fresh batteries, it doesn't appear to be, well, maybe it does. I feel like it's moving around slower than it did in the past, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I feel like it used to really move really fast. I wonder if it's a question of like the motor just not working as well. Maybe because when the cats, like lay on it or something. I don't know. But there's little Eva. She's going to enjoy it. I really like this toy because it gives the cats a good distraction while I'm trying to do other things. Look at Splash. He's so cute. Splash is such a cutie boy. So he has definitely been letting me pet him much more now than when Stella was still here. So hopefully he'll continue to open up to me and be friendlier to me. Not that he hasn't been friendly to me, but, he has been, still the most shy of the OG4, the most feral of the OG4. But he's gotten more pets from me over the past week than he ever has over the course of a week before. Look what I just found in the living room. Oh my gosh. So I don't know if this is Boo or Simba or what, but I definitely have to clean this up. Makes me think maybe it was Boo because it looks like a bunch of canned food. I'm cleaning up the vomit. It appears that it's been there for several hours because like the edges of it are dry. I know that sounds disgusting, but just documenting this. And I would say it's from Boo. The reason why is because when Simba vomits in threes. So he doesn't just vomit in one location. He then vomits much smaller amounts in 2 other locations. And they're usually not far from the original vomit. So I don't see that anywhere. So that would make me think this is from Boo. To me, what this looks like is Boo ate some of the food that I gave him for dinner yesterday with some crunchies on it. And then he vomited it up, and that's probably why he didn't want to eat any other food that I gave him after that. He did end up eating some beef baby food last night. He ate most of a jar of it. And then I know overnight he did eat some crunchies. But this makes me think it's from Boo. And it could be potentially because he has a hairball, because I did see him hacking a little bit this morning. Like, I didn't hear him hacking, but I saw him, like, I don't know, the way he was acting made me think he has a hairball. So that's what's going on. Now I hear it's like hailing out. Can you hear that? It's like sleet. I just checked all of the security camera footage in this room from last night. And so the cats had dinner like a little bit after 8:30. And then what happened was Simba didn't finish his food and Boo didn't finish his food. So Simba was here on the scratch and roll. I gave him what was left on his plate, which wasn't much at all. And then Boo was here, and I gave him what was left on his plate. And Simba finished his food. Boo just like sniffed at it, and then Boo jumped here into the cat tower. And then about 20 minutes later, almost 9 p.m., Boo jumped down from this cat tower, and he vomited over here. I have it all on the security camera footage. So that would explain why Boo did not want to eat any of the other food that I gave him. So at 9 p.m., the reason why I didn't hear him vomiting is because I was downstairs with the Lucky 7. and I was feeding them, giving them their dinner. So that's why I didn't hear him vomiting. If I was up here, I would have heard him. And that's why when I tried to give him like different types of canned food after that, when I saw he wasn't finishing his meal, that's why he wasn't eating that. And then later, like right before I went to bed, he was looking at me like he wanted food. So that's when I gave him some baby food, because I was like, okay, well, you know, hopefully he'll eat that. And he ate most of that. And then later on, he did eat some crunchies. So that mystery is solved. I still have to keep an eye on Boo. Maybe I'm going to put some extra like salmon oil in his food, so if he has a hairball, it'll move around. Right, Boo? You happy? You happy, boy? Yesterday, I laid down on the couch for a little while just to relax for like 20 minutes between doing things. And Boo came over and he was like laying on me. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. He's acting normal. He's not acting strange. So I got to keep an eye on him. No one's eating these treats. You want these treats? Want them? You want them? You weren't eating them. Want them? Want to eat them? I know Boo's hungry if he'll eat something out of my hand. Here, you want to put that? You want to eat them? Nancy's up here, so Boo's a little concerned about where she is. All right, so this is a good sign that he's eating these treats. Another thing that I noticed when I was looking at the security camera footage is that while I was preparing dinner for the cats yesterday, Boo was getting crunchies out of these crunchy mice. There's still some crunchies in this one, but this is the one he was playing with. There's still some crunchies in there also. Good morning, Nancy. I got this Dry Mate cat litter mat from Home Goods. Let's check it out. So I just got back from Home Goods and I saw this there. It was $9.99 and this says it is a cat litter mat. It reduces litter tracking through the house. It is a soft absorbent mat and it is waterproof with a slip resistant backing. So that all looked good to me, but what really got me was this. It says machine washable. And I was like, wow, that makes it really interesting because I have these green, like fake grass mats that I keep near the litter boxes. Now, these do a great job of containing like litter that would be tracked out and about. You see all the litter that's on it right now? So what I do is I vacuum these. During flea season, these get vacuumed every day. And right now, I've been vacuuming them every 2 or 3 days. But they do a really good job of collecting litter that would be tracked outside of this area. And this is where I keep another one of those green mats right here near this shower that I have downstairs. So the shower has been converted to like a cat litter area. There's 3 litter boxes in it. There's one litter box here next to it, and then there's another litter box out there. But I normally keep the green mat here, and it does a really good job of collecting the tracked litter. I don't know if you could see all the litter on the floor right now, because somebody threw up on the mat. I found it yesterday, so I cleaned it up and I threw it in my shower upstairs, like in the bathtub. And what's great about the green mats that I have is that I spray them with some Dawn Power Wash. I think that's what it's called. And then I just hit them with the hose outside. When the weather's warm, I can just take them outside, hose them down, wash them outside, dry them. Great. When it's cold out like it is now, it's only like 30 something degrees. I do the same thing in my bathtub upstairs. So that's why it's not here right now. I had to go buy some more of the detergent that I use. But this is where I want to put this because that was not the first time that the cats threw up on the green mat. For some reason, the cats love throwing up on those green mats. I also have another green mat upstairs near my front door. It's kind of like, inside welcome mat. And the cats have vomited on that quite a few times over the last year. I don't know why they like doing it, but I'm happy that they do. I'd rather them vomit on that than like a good rug or something. So I want to try this out over here because if I could put this here and if it'll collect the tracked litter and then it's machine washable, that would just be really, really great. On the back, it says it reduces litter tracking. It gently loosens litter from cats' paws. It is an absorbent fabric, traps and contains accidents, wicks away moisture, Waterproof backing prevents moisture from seeping through, protecting surfaces below. Slip resistant, provides a safer, more secure footing. Made from 50% recycled fiber, and it's made in the USA. So that is awesome. Here's the mat on the floor, and it is really big. I want to say this is like 3 times the size of the green grass mats that I use. Sammy's going to check it out already. Hey, Sammy, do you approve of it? Do you like it? Yeah? So sometimes if I'm going to be like away overnight, I will put like another litter box right here. So that would be good. It would hold the mat down. I'm just going to be curious to see if this mat moves. We'll see how that goes. HomeGoods is a really great place to try out products because the prices are really good. And then if you really like it, you could always then like order it online or something, because that's what happened with the scratch and rolls, for example. Here's what I just did. So I put this door stop on top of this litter mat, but like obviously underneath the door. So maybe that'll help hold this litter mat in place, because the cats sometimes do love running into this room and running out of this room when they play with their toys. Hey, Sammy. Hello, Sammy. It's 12:10 p.m. Here's Simba. I just put him in the carrier. It was really easy to get him in the carrier. So he vomited like all night. He started vomiting before dinner yesterday. Then he had a little bit of dinner. Then he vomited that up. In the middle of the night, he ate some crunchies. He vomited that up. And then this morning, he was vomiting liquid. And he's been vomiting 2 to 3 times a week for the past 3 or 4 weeks. So I'm taking him to the animal hospital, 24/7 animal hospital. And I'm going to have him checked out because it's not good for him to be vomiting all night, and he didn't want to eat anything today. So that's the situation. He's acting normal. He was playing this morning, walking around. He was in a really good mood. He was on top of the armoire, on top of the cat tower. So behavior-wise, he's been fine. I just don't like the fact that he's been vomiting so much. All right, Simba? Okay. I'm going to go have you checked out, okay? You're going to go checked out. It is 7:45 a.m. and here's Simba. And I want to talk about Simba's really big day, because Simba had a very big day yesterday. He's still sleeping because he had such a big day yesterday. So Simba has been vomiting recently, and I've been keeping track of it. It started in the beginning of March, and then 2 weeks later, it really picked up. And so for like the past 3, almost 4 weeks, he's been vomiting 2 to 3 times a week. And twice it's been a hairball. And maybe half the times it's been just some liquid with a little hair before dinner. And then sometimes it's in the middle of the night. Twice it's been a situation where he's just been like puking all night. And that's what happened, not last night, but the night before. So he vomited before dinner. And then he ate a little bit of dinner, and then he threw that up. And then like 3 o'clock in the morning, he decided he's going to eat a little bit of dry food, and then he threw that up. And then around 6 o'clock in the morning, he was just throwing up just more liquid. So because he was throwing up so much, I was like, you know what, I'm going to take him to the animal hospital. I'm going to get him checked out. He's been vomiting way too much lately. I just want to make sure everything's okay. Now, I thought maybe it could be stress related, because in the past, Simba has vomited due to stress. And of course, the past 2 months in this house have been pretty stressful. The entire month of February was just like off the charts stressful, with Stella in the emergency room, and then Stella passing away, and then Sammy going missing for so long, and then Sammy coming back injured. So that really, messed up the routine in the house. And then March was also stressful, as we were trying to get back to normal. I was trying to get this channel back onto some kind of a schedule. In the past, Simba has had issues where he'll just be like vomiting for a while, and then I'll take him to the doctor and they can't find anything. Also in the past, I have linked Simba's vomiting to catnip, but I haven't really given him any catnip recently, so I didn't know if that could be it. So I said, let me take him. Let me just take him. So we got to the emergency room at 12:40 p.m. and we were there for 6 hours and 20 minutes. I mean, that is insane. And this is the animal hospital that Stella was transferred to. And after we were waiting for so long, like after we were there for 3 hours just waiting, then I was like, you know, this is why I didn't take Stella here to begin with. I mean, it just totally reminded me and validated the fact that I took Stella to the other emergency room because they're so much quicker to get to an animal than this one is. Now, this one is really quick to get to an animal if an animal is in like critical condition or more serious condition. And then what happens is you kind of get bumped back and bumped back. So after we were waiting there for several hours, then I was starting to feel like, okay, well, they obviously don't think Simba is in like really critical condition. They don't think it's very serious. So it actually made me feel better. Like the longer we were waiting, I was like, okay, well, here we go. You know, we're waiting a long time. So when we went there, we got seen by a triage nurse after about 20 minutes. And then we went to the waiting room, and then we didn't get seen by a vet for another 4 hours. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like insane. They don't even have vending machines there, which I mentioned in, my video about my experience with Stella there. And like, as we were waiting, many people in the waiting room are like, I'm just going to go out and get some food and then I'll be back. I mean, it's ridiculous that they don't have any kind of food here. It's a really big place. And this is a very common occurrence where people have to go out to get food. So why don't they at least have some decent vending machines? And the other thing is, when you're waiting for so long, they need to have some kind of like recliners or something. Thankfully, they do have padded benches, so you're not just sitting on like a hard chair. But even trying to lay down on these padded benches is not exactly comfortable. They need some recliners for people that are there for extended periods of time. But anyway, so I kept asking, like anyone who interacted with Simba, I was like, what's your name? What's your name? So I kept track of everything. And the staff member that kept informing us like where we were on the list. Earlier in the day, they're like, yeah, you're number 6. But obviously we kept getting bumped back. And then at one point they're like, you're number 2. And then they're like, you're number 1, you're next. And I'm like, do you know who the doctor's going to be? And then as soon as they found out, they told us. So of course I looked him up. And I was not happy at all to find out that he has his vet license for less than 2 years. So I was like, here we go again. This is like, I'm going to wait, 4 hours for another inexperienced vet. I was not happy with that. But when I looked into it more, I found out that he was actually doing an internship there. So I was like, okay, so this is a little bit different. So he's here in training. He's doing an internship. So that's different than the vets at the emergency rooms who are not doing internships. They're just hired with no experience and put on the floor to be a vet. And they're not trained properly. So I was thinking to myself, okay, well, if he's doing an internship, that means they must have a training program here. And I know that the vets in general are very experienced here, have a lot more experience. So I wasn't happy about it, but Grandpa Farrell was with me. He came to the animal hospital with me because I knew it was going to be a long wait. I didn't think it was going to be that long, but I knew it was going to be long. So he was telling me that he's like, you have to give the guy a chance. He's like, maybe he's really smart. Maybe it's a different situation, because I was not happy. I was even thinking of, should I ask to, be switched to a different vet? But I was like, I'll just give him a chance. So I gave him a chance, and I'm very happy that I did, because even though he was young and even though he only had his vet license for 1 year and 10 months, he was so much more professional than any of the vets at the emergency room. I mean, it was like a day and night difference. And he was trying to be as thorough as he could possibly be. And he was very intelligent, like talking to him was very intelligent. At no time did I feel like I was dealing with someone who was incompetent. And, I never felt like I was dealing with someone who was just pretending to be a vet, which is how I felt at the emergency room that Stella went to. Several hours earlier, when we were in the waiting room, one of the vet techs came out to get Simba because she said that she looked at his information and she was worried that maybe he had a urinary blockage. And I was like, okay, yeah, take him and check him out. I said, but he did use the litter box this morning, so I don't think so, because I scooped a clump of urine out of it. So she's like, well, we're just going to be sure. So they took Simba checked him out, brought him back, and said that his bladder was small, so he's not blocked. So then, we waited more hours. So then when we were in the exam room with the vet, he said that, everything seemed to be fine from, their previous intake with regards to Simba as far as his vitals go and when they checked out his organs. But, he suggested that we could do a blood test to find out if something more is going on, or if I didn't want to go that route, then we could just talk about some kind of home care for him. So he said, I definitely want to get a blood test for him. That's why I'm here, because I want more information. So we did that. It took an hour and a half to get the results of the blood test. So we had to go back to the waiting room. It was freezing at this point because they turned the air on. And then we finally were called back into the exam room, and we got the results for Simba's blood tests, and everything was fine. Everything was normal. His iron was a little bit high, but it wasn't like abnormally high. It was just at the high end. And the other thing was his creatinine. That was at 2.4. And the vet was like, that's at the highest end of normal for a cat. And that could be a kidney issue, or it could be like a dehydration issue. So I was like, well, Simba's been vomiting. That's why he's here. And for, like the 24 hours before that blood test at that point, he had been vomiting multiple times at home. And also he wasn't eating or drinking. So I said, could that affect that number? Could that number go up that fast? And the vet's like, yeah, that definitely could. So I said, okay, well, do you need to do a urine test or anything like that? And he goes, yeah, well, if we did a urine test, then we could test the urine to see how concentrated it is. Then we could tell if it's from like the dehydration and vomiting, or if it's a kidney issue. And I was like, well, how long is that going to take, and how much is that going to cost? And he said that shouldn't take long at all, and that'll be like another $130. So I was like, okay, please do that, because I'd rather just get it over with than have to bring him back to the vet. Maybe he won't have urine, because that's what happened to Stella. When she went to the vet in December, they couldn't do a urine test because she didn't have urine. He's like, okay, I'll take him. I'll see if he has urine, then we'll do the test. So we waited another 10 or 15 minutes, and they did the test, and he came back and he said that Simba's urine was concentrated, so it's definitely more of an issue of dehydration from the vomiting versus a kidney issue. So Simba's kidneys are fine. So that brings us to the fact that he thinks it could be stress related. It could be diet related. He said, sometimes cats will sometimes have an intolerance to a certain kind of protein. And that's when we were discussing like proteins that Simba was having. Because I said, recently, because of, everyone being so concerned about the bird flu, I've been giving the cats more rabbit, more venison, more beef. So it could be something like that. Maybe one of those is not agreeing with him. And I said in the past, a few years ago, I thought beef was making Simba vomit. I thought there was a connection. So maybe there is a connection with that. Maybe that's what's going on. So I need to now keep like a more detailed diary of exactly which proteins he's eating, when he's vomiting, is there a relationship? Also, the other thing we were talking about is giving Simba maybe an afternoon snack, because in the past I noticed that sometimes Simba would vomit in the morning. It would just be like clear liquid with a little cat hair. But if I gave him treats in the middle of the night or a little bit of dry food in the middle of the night, like that's why I have their automatic feeders set up to give them just a little bit of dry food at like 4 a.m. because I found out if I did that, then Simba did not vomit in the morning. So I think I'm going to have to do something like that in the afternoon. So I think maybe 12 hours between meals is too long for Simba because, they've been getting fed. Let's say they get fed 9 a.m. breakfast, then they get 9 p.m. dinner. That's probably too long for him. So what I need to do is give him like a little bit of snack in the afternoon, and then maybe he's not going to vomit like clear liquid and cat hair before dinner. I'm going to work on something like that, see how that goes. The other option is maybe moving their dinner up. So instead of eating like 12 hours after they eat breakfast, maybe moving it up a few hours and then just giving them like a later snack. They were on that kind of schedule for a while. Maybe go back to something like that. I don't know. It's going to be some trial and error, but at least I know Simba's fine. He's healthy. All of his levels are normal. kidneys, liver, like everything is fine with him. His glucose was fine. There's no issues. So at least that's good. And he slept on the bed most of the night. And as you can see, he's still resting right now. He had such a big day. I mean, I felt so bad for him. He was stuck in that carrier for 6 hours at the animal hospital yesterday. He was not happy. And all he ate for breakfast yesterday was like 2 churros. And then he didn't eat anything the rest of the day. So when he got home, he was pretty hungry, but I didn't want to like fill him up so that he's gonna like vomit again. I gave him another churro and a few pieces of dry food. Then I waited a while and then I gave him a little bit of canned food. He didn't really want that. I gave him some chicken baby food. He really enjoyed that. A little bit more dry food. And then later in the evening, he wanted more dry food, so that's what he had. But I didn't want to give him too much food. I just basically let him decide what he wanted to eat. And then he slept almost the entire night on the bed. He got up a few times, hung out in the living room with Splash, but he's very, very happy to be home. Right, Simba? Here's Boo. Good morning, Boo. Hello, Boo. Good morning. Now, I should also mention that the reason why I asked Grandpa Farrell to come to the animal hospital with me is because the night before, Simba had been vomiting pretty much all night. I only got 4 hours of sleep. And for me to get 4 hours of sleep means I do not function well the next day at all. And I was so anxious. The anxiety came back. So I wasn't eating. Like I had to force myself to eat some kind of breakfast before I went to the animal hospital. I also had to take some snacks with me in my bag. I took juice with me. I took some of the hard ginger candies. I took some of the theanine candies. And then I took water. And then I took just like pieces of almond cake, homemade almond cake, which I know that settles my digestive system, and it's something that I could eat. That's like a safe food. It's not going to cause like digestive distress. So I took some of that with me, and that got me through the day. I had to like literally force myself to eat it throughout the day, just like a little piece. It wasn't a lot by any means. I just needed enough energy to get me through the day. I've been using my Garmin fitness watch to track my stress levels and my sleep and my energy levels and my heart rate variability. And this is yesterday. So this figure up here is my body battery. It went all the way down to 5, and 5 is the lowest it can go. And it stayed at 5 for like the rest of the afternoon and the evening. That's how exhausted I was yesterday. Like I don't need a watch to tell me that, but it's really interesting to see how accurate this watch is. And like, I just knew, I was like, yeah, I have no energy. And that's as low as it goes. Goes as low as 5 and never goes any lower. And then we could see it says I had a stressful day. High stress today has drained your battery. On days like this, try to take breaks and consider some light exercise or outdoor activities. Now it's time to wind down and relax before bedtime to help you sleep better. So my watch actually gave me that message around 9 p.m. yesterday. And this is the timeline with the stress in it. So, I started the day at midnight. Blue is good. That means you're resting or rested until about 8 a.m. And then once I got up, the stress was off the charts. Like that's when I made the decision, okay, I'm going to take Simba to the animal hospital today. And then look at this. Now this peak here was around the time that we got to the animal hospital. It was around 12:30, 12:45. And all this solid stress and all this solid stress is when I was at the animal hospital with Simba. And you can see it peaks a few times. But that's how accurate this watch is. It really does a great job of tracking this. And here it shows my stress score. It was 38, which for me is really high. It says you had very few restful moments on this day. Remember to slow down and relax to keep yourself going. This was my sleep score from yesterday, and it says I had very poor sleep. I slept for 4 hours and 54 minutes, but I think I actually got only around 4 hours. It says short, unbalanced sleep stages. You slept too little and your overall quality was low. Your sleep may have suffered because of low physical activity yesterday. You may feel more tired than usual today. Well, that's not why my sleep suffered. My sleep suffered because Simba was vomiting all night. So it's 9:30 a.m. and here's Boo. I wanted to show him you on this bag because this is like his favorite thing to do right now. I put this bag here the other day thinking Sammy or one of the lucky 7 might like to go inside of it. Well, it ends up that Boo just wants to lay on top of it. This is his favorite place to lay. I don't know if he likes how it crinkles. but he loves sitting on it. How you doing, Boo? How you doing, Boo? And here's Simba. You gonna kiss your boy? That's so nice. That's so nice, Simba. Boo gave you a nice little kiss. Good job, Boo. You're a good daddy. You're a good daddy, Boo. I want to talk about Simba, but Boo wants some attention right now. I just looked through my notes with regards to Simba, and I said, let me look through the meal plans because I've been doing meal plans for the past few weeks, and let's see if I could correlate his vomiting to any specific meals. Unfortunately, I only started doing meal plans maybe like 2-3 weeks ago. For a while, I was doing them in the past, and then with what happened to Stella, and then with Sammy going missing, I stopped doing the meal plans. But I've been working on putting together like a planner for the cats just to keep everything really organized in one place. And I've just been testing out layouts. So I looked at the past few weeks where I've been doing that, and from what I could tell, other than when Simba vomits before a meal, if he vomits like sometime after a meal, over the past few weeks, it's been when he's eaten rabbit. And to me, that's interesting because that never happened in the past. In the past, the cats loved rabbit and nobody had any problems with it. But recently, I've been buying rabbit at one of the local markets. It's like a Russian supermarket. That's the only place that has the rabbit legs. I don't want to buy a whole rabbit and have to cut it up myself. Like I could not do that. So I've been just getting the legs and then putting them through the grinder. It could be that there's a correlation between that and Simba's vomiting, just for some of them. So we're going to have to see about that. But for the prior weeks, I had not been writing down exactly like what they were eating and when they were eating it. And I think it's really important to keep a meal plan for pets. Even if I only had like 1 or 2 cats, I would still want to do that because if something happens where a cat ends up like vomiting or with a health issue, then you have the information. You could look back on it and be like, oh, okay, I can see a correlation. Oh, I do see a pattern here. So that's been helpful this morning to look at that. The other thing I'm thinking of is leaving dry food out for the cats. So this is one of the automatic feeders that I use in the middle of the night to give the cats a little bit of dry food. Now, this is more dry food than they would normally get in here. The reason why is because, yesterday's schedule was so messed up. Splash didn't really eat his dinner, and Simba only had a little bit of dinner. Same thing for Boo. So I said, I'll give them a tablespoon of crunchies in each of these compartments, and if they want, they could eat it overnight. And as you can see, there's still a lot of crunchies here. This is one of the other feeders, and this one was eaten. And this is the other feeder, and this still has crunchies in it also. Now, this has a different brand of crunchies than the other ones. And when I say crunchies, I mean dry cat food. So in the past, like when Stella was here, I was never able to just leave dry food out for the cats because she would eat it all. And I do have to say that Simba has been guilty of that in the past, and Boo has been guilty of that in the past. So in the past where I've tried like leaving dry food out for the cats, like it would be gone sometimes within minutes. And I'd be like, okay, well, that's not going to work. Or someone would gorge on it, and then I would have piles of regurgitated crunchies all over the house. But now I'm wondering what would happen if I tried that, because that way Simba could take a few nibbles whenever he wanted to, and maybe that would stop his vomiting before meals if he was able to, nibble on a few crunchies whenever he felt like his stomach needed that. The other main reason why I haven't been able to leave dry food out for the cats is because of ants, and I really don't want to jinx that, but so far this year, I've not seen any ants in the house. Usually by now, I've seen them, but I think with the new landscaper that I have, they put down pesticides in the yard that have been really controlling the ants better, because I know last year wasn't as bad as previous years. I do have some raised cat bowls that I might use for that and see how it goes. Just as an experiment. I have been against free feeding dry cat food because I just don't think it's healthy for cats to only eat dry food. They definitely need moisture in their diets. And also the dry cat foods do have more carbs in them than wet cat foods do. However, after what happened to Stella, I am very much a proponent of balance when it comes to foods that cats are consuming. Here's Splash. Good morning, Splashy. So considering the fact that when they get homemade food, there's very few carbs in the homemade food. We're talking less than 5% carbs, probably only 2 or 3% carbs most of the time. So they're getting extremely low carbs. So if they're getting some dry food with, 10, 20, 30% carbs, and it's only a very small portion of their diet, like a snack, then that's just going to balance itself out. And I honestly think that balance like that is very important. So right now I am just thinking out loud, but that is what I'm thinking about. I might want to give that a try also and see if Simba vomits less with regards to that. Also, then I would not have to set up these automatic feeders every night, because if I just had like maybe 2 feeding stations with a little bit of food and some water, maybe that would be better. However, what I think will happen is when the lucky 7 come upstairs, they're just going to devour all the crunchies in it, because Nancy is a crunchy fiend. She's very much like Stella. Like, she'll just keep eating the crunchies with no stopping. It's 4 p.m. and I was just sitting here in the sun by the back door getting my vitamin D. Let me show you who's been hanging out with me. Hopefully he won't move. He might move though. Look who's been hanging out with me. It's Cousin Oliver, or Ox. I didn't see him before, but now all of a sudden I get up to go inside, and here he is. So I'm going to put my chair away, and then I'll give him some food. But it's a beautiful day to be out here. Like, I would be out here even longer if I didn't have so many other things to do. I'm thinking I might go for a little walk, maybe 20 minutes, just because I haven't really done any exercise recently. It is 4:15 p.m. Here's Boo. Here's Simba. I just gave Boo some canned food that I put together for Ox, and Boo likes to taste it. I don't expect him to eat much of it, but he likes to lick it. And this is going to be kind of a test for Simba today, because there are still some crunchies in this feeder, and he does have a little bit of food left from his breakfast. I don't expect him to eat that, but the crunchies are available, so if he wants to nibble on a few of those before dinner, he can. It is 10 p.m. and here's Simba. He's on the couch cushion. This is like new for him. He hasn't been up here in a very long time. Let me tell you what happened. So Simba ate almost all of his dinner in the kitchen. Then I said, you want a little bit more of the freeze-dried chicken on what's left? Like, he left probably like 1/6 of his meal. Like, he ate the majority of it. So I put a little bit more freeze-dried chicken on it, sprinkled a little bit of fortiflora on it, and then he finished his meal. And Splash finished his meal. And Boo was not eating his meal. For whatever reason, Boo was not eating it. But what I do with Boo is I give him some extra time. And I went downstairs. I gave the lucky 7 their dinner. And then I came back upstairs and I was cleaning up the kitchen a little bit. But then I walked into this room and I saw that half of Boo's plate was eaten. So I was like, wow, did Boo eat his food? Like, did he eat half of his food? That would be great. So I looked at the security camera footage, and guess who ate Boo's food? Simba. So not only did Simba eat his own dinner, but he ate half of Boo's dinner. Now, this is great for Simba because, Simba has been throwing up a lot recently. He hasn't really had the best appetite. Like, he's been eating his food, but sometimes it's really challenging for me to get him to eat his food. And sometimes he hasn't been eating his wet food and he's just been eating mostly dry food. But today, Simba ate all of his wet food and he ate half of Boo's. So he looks a little bit full right now. Like, he looks like he wants to take a nap, like he's tired, which is fine. I'm just so proud of you, Simba. So maybe by giving Simba a few extra snacks before dinner, it helps to bring his appetite back. Maybe when he wasn't eating between his meals, he was getting more nauseous, and that's why he was vomiting up some like clear liquid along with some like cat hair. So maybe this is going to be the solution. Simba had like one of those squeeze up spoons, the like squeeze up cups, a little bit before dinner. He also had a few crunchies and a few treats. So I'm really proud of him. Hopefully the rest of the night will go well and he'll just relax and digest his food. Meanwhile, here's Boo. Now, Boo did not eat his dinner. He took a few bites of it, but that was it. However, this afternoon, when I was feeding Ox or Cousin Oliver, I gave Boo some of the canned food from the can that I opened for him. It was some of the the 9 Lives. I think it was the meaty pate. Not the best food, but sometimes Boo really likes that food. And I was absolutely surprised that he ate all the food that I gave him. I didn't give him like a full portion. It wasn't like 3 ounces of food. It was maybe like, I don't know, 1.5 ounces, 2 ounces. But I was surprised that he ate it all. So what I'm going to do right now is finish cleaning up the kitchen. I'm going to load the dishwasher. And then what I'll do is I'll open a can of food for Boo, or I'll see if I have a can open in the refrigerator, like some leftovers he might want to finish, or I'll open a new can for him. I'll see. I'll just offer him some more wet food if he wants it. If he doesn't want it, I'll just leave it out. Maybe he'll eat it later. Maybe Splash or Simba will eat it. And I'm thinking of, I don't know, maybe I won't do crunchy time for them. Maybe I'll just put some crunchies in the feeders for them so they could have it if they want it. Right, Boo? It is 9:15 a.m. Here's Boo. The minute he saw me turn this camera on and pointed at him, then he got excited and he left the cat tower. Here's Sammy. Last night, I found out that Sammy is the cat that's been opening this door, this kitchen door. So it's happened about 3 times now where I'll shut this door like that. And what'll happen is it'll mysteriously get opened. So it happened 2 days ago when I took Simba to the animal hospital. I was sitting there for so long, I said, let me check the security cameras. And I noticed that the Lucky 7 were walking around upstairs. I was like, how does that happen when I put them downstairs with the door shut? So I couldn't figure that out. I thought, well, maybe I didn't shut the door. Like, I didn't know what was going on. So then yesterday, I put them downstairs because I'm ready to, give everyone dinner. And that's what I do. That's our routine. They go downstairs, I shut the door. And then the OG4 relax maybe 10, 15 minutes upstairs, 20 minutes, and then they get dinner. So I'm working on a video. I'm sitting on the couch working on my computer. And I hear someone scratching in the litter box. And I'm like, oh, that must be Splash because Boo and Simba were in the room with me. Here's Boo. Here's Splash. And then I heard someone eating some crunchies. So I was like, oh, that must be Splash. So I didn't think anything of it. But what happened was I get up to walk to the kitchen and I'm walking past Boo's room. And who do I see in Boo's room? Nancy. So the first thing I think is, oh, well, maybe she didn't go downstairs when all the cats went downstairs. Maybe she stayed upstairs. Then I walk into the kitchen and I see the doors open. And I'm like, I know I shut that door. And then I look and there's like Ringo's in my bedroom, Richard's in my bedroom, like 4 out of the 7 are upstairs walking around. So I was like, okay, that's really strange. Are they opening the door by themselves? So they go downstairs again and I shut the door. And then a short while later, I'm in the kitchen. I think I was refilling water bowls. And all of a sudden I hear like the door, like it's moving. And I was like, what's going on? So I look and it's Sammy. I could not figure out how Sammy was getting the door open. So I don't know. What happened after that is I shut the door again. Sammy was on the other side of it. Now I did hear her like scratching at it and pawing at it, but I don't know if she's actually like turning the doorknob. It's not a handle where they could just press down on the handle and open the door. It's a doorknob. And I do know that some cats can turn doorknobs, but I don't know if that's what she's doing. I don't know if she's climbing up on that screen door to get herself to the doorknob, because she's the smallest cat in the house. And so what I also did was I put her underneath the doorknob, and I picked up her paws and I like stretched her out like she's standing on her hind legs. She can't even reach the doorknob. So I don't understand. The only thing I could think is she's somehow climbing up the screen door and getting herself somewhere near the doorknob so then she could then turn it. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. That's a mystery. I might have to put a camera on the other side of that door to see what's going on, what kind of attempts are being made. But that's something that happened last night. Another thing that happened last night is I found this feeder. It's really just like raised bowls. And I had a bunch of these like when Ditto was here, because Ditto did really well eating out of these because it's like raised water, raised food, and it has a tray around the outside to catch all the spills. So I use these a lot with Ditto. At that time, I bought enough for every cat in the house. So I had 5 of these because I only had the OG4 at the time. The bowl on the right is the bowl that comes with it. It's kind of like a shallow bowl. The bowl on the left is another deeper bowl that I found. And I was like, oh, that'll be great for water. So the bowl on the left holds about 2.5 cups of water, and the bowl on the right, I put a few tablespoons of crunchies in it. And this was a test for the cats overnight. I actually put this in my room. Right now it's in Boo's room, but I had this in my room where I normally keep a water bowl. And I looked at the security cameras overnight, and Splash checked it out. He did not eat any of the food. He might have drank a few sips of water, but that was it. And then Boo visited this twice. He drank a little bit of water and walked out, but nobody gorged themselves on the dry cat food. So then this morning I was thinking about it, and I know that cats tend to do better when the water bowl is separated from the food bowls. Like I never keep water and food right next to each other like they are now. Even when I use these for Ditto, I would put 2 bowls of food in this, and then I would make another one with 2 bowls of water. And for him, he was on wet food because he had a mouth issue. So I would put like 2 different flavors of wet food in these. And that way I gave him a choice of what to eat. So what I'm thinking of doing is putting this here in Boo's room and taking the water bowl out of it and then putting another food bowl in, and then just keeping 2 different types of dry cat food. That way the cats have a choice because they don't always all like the same dry cat food, and seeing what happens, seeing if that helps Simba with his appetite and with his stomach issue. And then I'm going to keep the other water bowls that I have. I have 2 in the kitchen, 1 here, and 1 in my bedroom. What I actually might do is, guys, it just happened again. It just happened again. Look at this. I'm walking into the kitchen to show you the water bowls, and the door's open. Who is opening this, and how are they doing it? Look, that's shut. You can't just push it. You can't just push it. And here's Sammy. I know it's Sammy. Go ahead, Sammy. If you hear a bug in the background, it's a video downstairs of a bug for cats. These are the 2 water bowls that I have in the kitchen, and no one's really been using them since Stella passed away. Stella used to use these all the time. So I have one that's a footed bowl, so it's like a raised water bowl, and then I have the other one which is lower. So I'm thinking of maybe only having 1 water bowl here and maybe putting some wet food here for the cats to nibble on. Let's take a look at what's going on downstairs. So these are 2 automatic feeders that I put some crunchies in last night before I went to bed, and I set them to go off 2 hours apart. So this one was supposed to go off at like 2 a.m., 4 a.m., 6 a.m., 8 a.m., and they probably had a little bit less than a tablespoon of crunchies in each one, but there's 7 cats down here. So I figured, I was hoping that it was not going to be a situation where 1 cat was going to eat all of them. I thought if they wanted to snack on it, they could. The reason why is because we are still experimenting to see, what happens if we try to leave more dry food out for the cats. Will they gorge less or will they gorge more? And all the food's gone, but I don't know who ate it. So I'm going to have to repeat this with the camera pointed at that to see like who is doing what. Also, I did not give them like the same amount of crunchies that I would normally give them. So normally at night they get their dinner and they get a spoon of crunchies with their dinner. Then if everyone eats their food, a little while later they'll each get another spoon of crunchies, and that's dry cat food. And then sometimes if they're still restless and hungry, I'll give them a little bit more. Now, they don't always eat their breakfast. So usually that happens on a day where they don't eat their breakfast. So I just want to make sure that everyone is satisfied, because if they're not satisfied, then it's hard to sleep because they're banging on the door for food, especially Nancy. So that's why we're trying this out. So last night, they got their food with a spoon of crunchies. After that, they get another spoon of crunchies, but they were still hungry. So then I opened a can of cat food, some wet cat food. I split that 7 ways. Then they had that. And I was like, okay, guys, that's it. That's it for the night. And then I put a little bit of crunchies in the feeders. And as we could see, they ate all of the crunchies. And here's Sammy's new spider. She's been carrying it all around with her down here. It's 11:30 a.m. and Boo has decided he doesn't want to eat his breakfast. Here's his breakfast. He actually ate part of it. Maybe he ate a quarter of it or a third of it. But now he is eating some baby food. It's some beef baby food. I mixed in some warm water. He ate half the jar, so I just gave him the other half of the jar. Now, Boo does have an appointment with the vet in about 2 days. Hopefully, I'll be able to get him in a carrier and there will not be any issues. I just want to have him checked out. So I know what's going on with him. Now that I know exactly what's going on with Simba, I would like to know exactly what's going on with Boo. Good job, Boo. Want to eat the rest? Here, you're not done. You want to finish this? Want to put it here? Want to eat it there? Or you want it back up here? Here. You done? Want to finish? Look at what's going on here. So I just saw Richard eating the dry cat food out of the bowl on the right. I'm going to have to make sure to put more in there before this afternoon, because this is really to help Simba get through the day without vomiting. There's Goldie. Meanwhile, everyone down here hardly ate their breakfast. I don't know why, but I would safely assume it's because of those automatic feeders with a little bit of dry food in them. This is why I really can't leave dry food out down here for the Lucky 7, because if I do, then they don't eat their food at all. Now, Simba ate about half of his breakfast, but then I gave him the other half to work on, so he might have finished it. I have to check on him. But what I do is I leave this food out for maybe another half hour, and then if no one eats it, I just put it in a container and they're going to get it for dinner, because that's what happens. Sometimes there are some days where they don't eat their breakfast. If I collect it up and serve it to them for dinner, then they eat it. 7 portions of food will actually, a few are partially eaten. So let's say there's still about 6 portions of food down here. That's a lot of food to waste. So something else really interesting happened yesterday. So this is the fence in the back of my yard. It goes along like the side of my yard and then the back of my yard. This is the corner in the back. And this is always where all the wildlife and the cats and everything, they'd go underneath the fence, because it used to be that the yards on both sides of the fence, like the yards on the other side of each fence, they used to be just not kept up. Like they were just grown wild, and, maybe the lawns were mowed occasionally, but most of the rest of the yard was just totally overgrown, like hedges and trees and stuff like that. And what's happened over the past few years is new people have moved in and they've completely, torn out so much, especially the yard in that direction. This direction, they've cleaned out their yard. And then this direction, really cleaned everything out. So it's like a day and night difference. It's completely different than how it was a few years ago with the older videos, with all the raccoons and the possums and the squirrels and the wildlife, having a wildlife trail through the back of the yard. So it's completely different. So what happened the day that Simba was in the animal hospital was that my doorbell rang, and it rings on my cell phone also, so I could kind of see who it is, but I didn't get to it in time. And by the time I looked at the video, it was after they had already left the door, and I realized that it was my next door neighbors. So I was like, that's weird. What's going on? Did they lose their dog? What's happening? So I didn't find out until later that evening when I got home that they left a note. They wanted to talk to me about their fence. Now, they only have a really old chain link fence. It's about 3 feet high. It's like broken in places. So I'm thinking to myself, like, well, what's going on? You're like, I don't know what's going on. So I finally spoke to them last night, and what they want to do is they actually want to take down this part of the fence, the part of the fence between my yard and their yard. They want to take that down, and they want to put a new fence up. Now, the new fence is going to be like a white fence like this one. This is dirty because it needs to be cleaned. But they're going to put a new white fence. It's going to be solid, 6 feet tall, which is going to be nice because this one with the lattice, even though it looks pretty, does not provide as much privacy as if the fence was just solid all the way up. And what it's also going to do is it's actually going to extend my yard by another foot. Now, this fence was in this yard when I bought the house, so I didn't put up the fence. The previous owners did. And when they put it up, they put it a foot away from the property line, like in my yard versus the neighbor's yard, that like they did not put it exactly on the property line. So what the current neighbors want to do is they want to put the new fence up exactly on the property line. So that's actually going to give me an extra foot along this side of my yard, which would be great because my yard's small to begin with. And they're also going to extend this fence from the back corner all the way to the front corner of their house. So that way it's going to extend along the side of my house, where right now it's just like some small trees or some hedges. So there's really no privacy along the side of my house and the side of their house. So it'll be good. It'll put more privacy there. Also, they have a dog, and I know a lot of times I see them in the backyard and they're just trying to make sure the dog stays in their yard. So that's why they want to put like a proper fence up all around their yard to make sure that the dog stays in. So they're also going to be taking down, there's like another wooden fence along the back here, and they're going to be adding other fences on the side. And they want it to look as nice as possible, which is why they contacted me and they said, would it be okay if they took this fence down, because they think it's going to look horrible if there are like two fences like right next to each other. And so I agreed to that. I'm actually looking forward to the new fence. I think it's just going to be nicer. It's going to have more privacy, and it's going to give me a little bit more room. And I told them the only thing I'm concerned about is this corner back here, because if this fence moves like a foot that way, then there's going to be a foot gap between this back fence and this fence. So I just said, please make sure that that gap is filled in, and then I'm okay with that. So that's what's going to be happening sometime in the next few weeks. They said that they still have to get permits, but they already spoke to the fence company and they already had the property line surveyed. So that's how they know where they're going to put the fence and everything. So that is going to be really interesting to see how that is. I'm definitely looking forward to having just a little bit more space. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to affect the current flow of animal traffic, because, back here in this corner, this is where like the cats go under the fence. This is where Stella and her babies and Boo used to come under this fence. So with the new fence, I don't know if it's going to have this clearance underneath it or if it's going to be like lower to the ground. This fence still has some clearance underneath it. So if the cats wanted to like go under this fence, they could still go under that fence. The only difference is now when they go under these fences, like everything is cleared out over here. So it goes to, my neighbor has like a driveway. They still have the open shed where all the mice used to come out of, but I think they've obviously been taking care of the mice situation, which is why I found like the mice dying of poison a year or two ago. But I've been in their yard looking for Sammy, and it extends like way back here, and it's nice now. It's like all grass. They have a garden. Like it's a really nice yard now. It used to be just like completely overgrown. So that's why it used to provide a lot of shelter for animals and a lot of places for them to hide and just kind of create homes. It is 4:37 p.m. and I just got back from the supermarket. Here's Richard and Nancy. And Easter is in a few days, and I just went to the supermarket to just make sure I had what I needed for the holiday. And I've just been really down all day. Like I woke up with a headache, and I drank a ton of water because usually that makes my headaches go away, but I still had the headache. So then I took a bunch of herbal supplements, and I was like, maybe that'll help. And it helped a little bit. And I went to the post office And then on the way home, I had enough energy to go to the supermarket. So I went to the supermarket thinking I only needed 3 things, but as I was walking around, I realized I might as well just get everything that I need for the holiday while I'm here, pick up a few things for the cats. So that's what I did. And I'm just so down. Like, I was so sad walking around the supermarket, and I don't know, I really couldn't figure out why. I was like, I got a decent amount of sleep last night, and, I should feel okay today. But then when I was unloading the groceries, I realized that Easter will be the first holiday without Stella. I mean, yeah, we had Valentine's Day without Stella, but I was, totally stressed out over Sammy being missing, and Stella had passed away only like a week before or less than a week before. So I was still kind of numb and in a daze. And then, yeah, St. Patrick's Day, but we don't really celebrate St. Patrick's Day. But Easter is always a celebration, and this is the first time we'll be celebrating a holiday without Stella. So it's really kind of sad. Here's Simba, and I have to make sure he has a decent snack right now so that he's not going to throw up before dinner. Simba, you want crunchies? Or you want a treat? You want some treats, Simba? I gave Nancy some treats. I gave Richard some treats. And I gave Simba some treats, but he's not eating them right now. It is 8 a.m. Here's Simba. Good morning, Simba. How you doing, Simba? So, Simba has not thrown up since he went to the animal hospital. So we're doing good. And the vet that saw him there gave me a call this morning. I could not believe the phone rang at it wasn't even 7:30 yet. And I thought it was like a mistaken phone call. I was like, why are they calling me? I don't owe them any money. I'm paid in full, because I was sleeping when the phone rang. And then I realized, oh, well, maybe the doctor is calling. So then I picked up the phone, and it was the vet that Simba saw. He wanted to go over the other urine test. So Simba actually had 2 urine tests while we were there. The one in the office, and then another one that took longer for them to get the results of, that was more detailed. And so he wanted to go over the results of that one. He said everything looked fine in that, except there was a little bit of protein in the urine. And he wants me to follow up with Simba's vet and have a first thing in the morning urine sample at the vet. But there are several different things that can cause protein in the urine. And Simba's urine was very concentrated because, he hadn't been eating or drinking that day. Also, he had been vomiting. So when you have very concentrated urine, it's easy for protein to be detected in it. So it could just be something like that. Or it could be a UTI, urinary inflammation. But Simba has not shown any symptoms of that or anything. And Simba has just been so happy since he's been back from the vet, and he's doing really well, getting little afternoon snacks. So hopefully it's nothing serious. Right, Simba? Right, Simba? So yesterday I moved this water bowl over here because this is the bowl that the cats like to drink out of. It used to be here. Then I moved it, but I'm putting it back here. The reason why I'm putting it back here is because then I could see very easily on the security camera who's drinking and when are they drinking. And I moved this feeder over here. And as you can see, there's still crunchies in the feeder. There's 2 different types of crunchies. And there's also a little bit of boiled chicken here, which no one wanted to eat. So the fact that this feeder still has crunchies in it, and the crunchies have been there all night, it's a good sign. Hello, Boo. Because that means nobody's gorging themselves. Right, Boo? And over here, we still have leftover dinner. So that plate, the full plate in the middle, is what I fed Boo for dinner yesterday. That's Simba's plate. That's Splash's plate. They ate dinner probably around 9 p.m. And then I went to bed a little while after that. That's why the plates are still out. So Boo didn't eat that. And this was Boo's next plate. It has some canned food in it that I pureed up for him. He ate part of that. I don't know who else ate it, maybe Splash, but I know Boo ate part of that. Boo had some crunchies, and then this was another plate. This is the 9 Lives meaty pate. Sometimes Boo enjoys that, so there's some of that left over also. So hopefully Boo ate enough food for dinner last night. I gave him a few varieties to choose from, and now I have to clean all of this up. It is 8:15 a.m. Here's Boo. He's still relaxing. I only got like 4 hours of sleep last night because I couldn't fall asleep. I went to bed too late, and I ate some cookies right before I went to bed. So I need to sleep well to begin with. And then I woke up like around, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, probably around 3 o'clock in the morning. And I could not fall back asleep. And then Boo was drinking water, and I was like, Boo, you want something to eat? Because he didn't really eat much for dinner. So then, look at this. He's still sitting on some of the Temptations that I gave him last night. Here, want Temptations? Eat those? I'll move these out. Here. So he didn't really eat much for dinner. And then one of the things that I did in the middle of the night was I gave him 2 squeeze-up treats or churros. It was actually a chulip and a churro. And he devoured those. So then I was like, okay, that's good. But he didn't want to eat like a third one. But then I was like, I wonder if he would eat some Temptations. So I gave him some Temptations. I opened up a bag of the birthday Temptations because I was saving that for Splash and Simba's birthday in a few weeks. I could always buy more. But Boo ate some of those, so that's good. Another reason why I didn't sleep well is because I have to take Boo to the vet today. We have a 12 p.m. appointment, and getting him in a carrier is always a big challenge. So I'm hoping I could do that easily. I have to make sure I put on the relaxing music that works on Boo. It's like a miracle music to get Boo in a carrier. And of course, then I have anxiety over, what's the vet going to find? What is, what are the test results going to be? So, it doesn't help only getting like 4 hours of sleep. And it doesn't help having this anxiety. Here's Splash. And of course, I'm still mourning the loss of Stella. And what I realized this morning, is that I'm also mourning the loss of myself. Because right now, I am not who I used to be. And it used to be so different. If I needed to take a cat to a vet, even if it was an emergency, I would have this incredible calmness come over me. And I would feel like I would be centered somewhere between my heart and my solar plexus. Like that's where my energy would go. And I would feel so calm. And I would feel like, okay, well, this is just a mission and I have to get this accomplished and let's do this. And I miss that because that's not how I feel now. And that's not how I felt when I took Simba to the animal hospital the other day. Instead of feeling calm and purposeful, I was just full of tension, stress, and anxiety. Like it's just the complete opposite of how I used to be. And I sincerely hope that I can get back to how I used to be because it was much better than how it is now. So right now, today, my anxiety is nowhere near as bad as it was the day that I was bringing Simba to the animal hospital. I think it's because I already went through that experience of, having little sleep that day and then being there for 6.5 hours. I'm not going to be at the vet today with Boo for 6.5 hours. At least I hope I'm not. I hope his checkup is going to go okay. So my anxiety is not as bad as it was, but it's still here. On a scale of 1 to 10 right now, I'd say it's probably like a 3. But it doesn't help when I don't get sleep. And that's like a trigger for me. If I don't get enough sleep, then that doesn't really help. And if I look back to when I had the Lucky 7 spayed and neutered and I was going to the vet twice a week, taking them in for their appointments, and there were some nights back then when I got very little sleep, I never felt like this. I was never full of anxiety like this. So I really miss myself. And it makes me wonder if part of this is because of the fact that my heart is broken over Stella. Because that's where I used to feel so centered. I would feel a calmness come over me, and I would feel centered somewhere between my heart and my solar plexus. So I wonder if it's because my heart's broken over Stella. I wonder if it's because of the trauma that I experienced with the emergency room and their mistreatment of her. And then, of course, I wonder if it's just because my vagus nerve needs to be reset and rehabilitated. And that's what I've been working on. But what happens is when I get a good day, I don't work on it as much. But I've been actively trying to work on it the past few days. So I need to make sure that I make that kind of self-care a priority. Right, Boo? Right, Boo? Boo's really happy right now. Boo's really happy right now. It was another night of food on the floor for the cats, and Boo did not eat any of this. Simba ate some, and Splash ate a little bit. So what I did here was I put 3 different types of crunchies here. These are the Origin crunchies. These were, I believe, Whole Paws from Whole Foods, and then these are the Instinct crunchies. Simba devoured these first. He really loves that brand. And then he came back this morning and he ate some of the Origin. Now, this only holds like 1 tablespoon. This only holds 1 tablespoon of crunchies in each little container. I got this at an Asian supermarket. I think it's for dipping sauces. This is some of the leftover baby food. This was beef baby food that Boo did not want to finish. And this is some leftover canned food that Boo did not want to finish. Simba ate a little bit of it. It's some pureed sardines. And then this, I believe, was like mackerel and something. So I have to clean all this up. Boo just ate a churro, a chicken churro. I was trying to get him on the scale, but he kept jumping off. From what I could tell, he's like 13 pounds, 3 ounces, somewhere around there. But I don't know, that could be wrong. But if that's true, then it's good because he has not been losing weight. He's been around 13 pounds for several months now. So that's good. And I just checked the litter box that has the color changing litter in it. And someone peed in it, and it was normal. So far, every time someone pees in it, it's normal. Boo's peed in it a few times over the past few days, and his urine has shown up as normal, just like the regular yellow color. These are the bowls with the dry food in it, and so these are the Origin crunchies that have been here for a few days now. I'm going to change those out today. And then these are the ICYMI crunchies. Nobody ate these. It's 9 a.m. Boo's relaxing again. And I just posted on the community tab because I'm so tired of having to answer the same questions like over and over and over again. And I don't need to feel additional pressure from random people on the internet. So I felt like that needed to be addressed. So I just addressed that, and I really need to just set certain times of the day where I check the comments and read them and reply to them. Like I can't be doing this like all different hours of the day. It's not good to do that. It's too time consuming, and it can honestly be too aggravating dealing with disrespectful people. So I need to work on some kind of schedule with that. I was thinking maybe I'll just carve out like an hour in the middle of the day, maybe on my lunch hour, I'll set some time to do that, or maybe an hour in the afternoon or something. I don't know. I'm thinking out loud. I need to figure that out. Right, Boo? I also want to take more apps off of my phone. I took a few social media apps off of my phone, and it made a huge difference. So I think I'm going to take a few more off, because if I find myself scrolling and wasting time then I think I'm going to take that app off. I think I would much rather access it like on a computer versus a mobile device. I think that makes a huge difference. Now, I understand some people only have mobile devices. Some people only have an iPhone or an iPad or something like that. But it is a very big difference accessing it on a computer versus a mobile device. And I think for me, it keeps everything in better perspective. It's 9:21 a.m. and here's Simba. And I just checked my phone to make sure that my community post actually posted. And I saw a comment that came in on YouTube on a completely different video. It was on the video that announced Stella's passing. And it was a very nice comment, although the person shared the fact that their cat had a very similar situation to Stella's with regards to vet care, and the vets pretty much failing their cat also. And the comment basically thanked me for raising awareness and addressing these kind of topics. So I don't think it's a coincidence that I just made a community post with regards to, dealing with and discussing difficult topics. And then pretty much at the same time, someone living half a world away on the other side of this world left a really nice comment telling me how important it is that I continue speaking out about this. So that's why we have a lot of work to do, right, Simba? We have a lot of work to do. It's 11:08 a.m. It's a beautiful day right now. And Ox was here a little while ago eating some food I put out for him. And I have to get ready to put Boo in his carrier, and I know I really only have one shot at it. I have to pick him up and just dump him in the carrier. And I have his music playing right now. I'm trying to get him to relax, and I do have a little bit of the old feeling coming back, in the pit of my stomach. It's okay, you just have to do this. You just have to get this done kind of feeling. But at the same time, I feel like I'm exhausted because I haven't been really getting full night's sleep. It's so different when you get a good night's sleep almost every night versus almost not every night. And, that's what's been going on with me. I haven't really been getting the best sleep. I think I got one really good night's sleep this week, and then another night was so-so. So I'm dealing with exhaustion, and also, to a certain extent, I feel like my nerves are burnt out after everything with Stella and then with Sammy and then with making all this information public and everything and posting all the videos. So that's how I'm feeling. I did eat breakfast. I forced myself to eat. I had some apple cider, 2 hard-boiled eggs, and some almond cake. That's my go-to meal if I know I'm going to have a stressful day. I'm able to choke that down. I also took a tablespoon of Pepto-Bismol just to help settle my stomach. I was feeling some nausea. And I've been taking Rescue Remedy and also the Restful Rings, the theanine candy. I took one of those. So the hardest part of the day is getting Boo in the carrier. That's the most difficult challenge. It is 11:12 a.m. I just got Boo in the carrier. And I used the music, which was on, but I also used a distraction method. So this is one of his favorite toys, this little wand toy. It's like a tiny wand. So what I did was I held this in my left hand while I picked Boo up in my right hand. And not only did I distract him with the wand toy, but I put the carrier here across the hall from his room. So I was a little bit sneaky and I said, Boo, you want to go in your room? So what happened was he thought I was taking him into his room. So he was actually looking in the direction of his room. But then at the last minute, I just dumped him in the carrier. So far, he's relaxed. You want to play? You want me to bring your toy with you? You want your toy with you? I don't know if he's going to poop in the carrier. I've been trying to get a poop sample out of him for the past day and a half. He has not pooped. So I'm not going to put a toy in the carrier. I'm going to try to get, I need to get a training pad to bring with me. I can't put it in the carrier now because if I open this carrier, he's going to get out. So I'm going to cover it and we're going to slowly ride to the vet's office. I'm just very happy I was able to get him in the carrier. It is 11:18. We're in the car. Boo's been howling a little bit, but, I don't blame him. He's not happy. We are on time, so I'm going to drive pretty slow to get to the vet's office. If we get there early, maybe they'll take us a little bit early. We'll see. It is 2:03 p.m. Here's Boo. Hello, Boo. How are you? We just got back from the vet a little while ago, and Boo just pooped in the carrier on the way home. And now I have to take a sample of the stool to the vet. So when the vet gave Boo an exam, the vet said that it felt like Boo was constipated. He could feel firm stool in Boo's body. And so he suggested that, they could give him an enema there to try to get it moving. Or I could take him home and, try to get the stool moving at home. I said I'd much rather do that. So I said I could give him some Laxatone, or I could give him some fish oil, coconut oil, something to get it moving. So that was the plan. So I don't have to do that because what they did was they gave Boo some fluids at the vet's office, and I guess the fluids were enough to pass it through. So now, thankfully, Boo pooped, and I get to take the stool back for a test. Boo did good. The vet says there's no issue with Boo's mouth. That's not a problem. But he said it feels like Boo's kidney is enlarged. I don't know if it was both kidneys or one kidney, but he said it felt like it was enlarged. Now, he has said that about Boo in the past, so I don't know if that's actually going to manifest into a serious issue or not. We're not going to know until we get the blood test back. So Boo had a blood test done, he had a urine test done, and he also received fluids. So right now, Boo's cleaning himself because I don't know if he also peed in the carrier. The vet told me that he's probably going to pee more often since he got the fluids. So that's where that stands. Boo got a churu when he got home, and I just gave him a little bit of dry food if he wants to nibble on it. I'll put that on the side. I'm going to give him a little bit of canned food because he really didn't eat much breakfast. See if he wants to eat that. Right now, he's just taking a bath, cleaning himself, and we're going to hope for the best with regards to test results tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll get the test results tomorrow, and hopefully, it won't be something too serious. It is 3 p.m. and here's Boo. He's relaxing by an open window. Hello, Boo. I don't know if you could see him because of the shadow. I washed out his carrier, and it ends up that he pooped and peed in the carrier because, they gave him subcutaneous fluids, and they told me that he'll be peeing more often, but I guess he couldn't wait until he got home because it's about 20 or 30 minutes for us to get home. We did hit a little bit of traffic, so I cleaned it out. And I put his poop in a bag, and I'm going to take it back to the vet's office so it could get tested. And Boo's really happy. I do have to shut the window when I leave. Okay? All right, Boo? He had a little bit of food. He really just licked the gravy. And here's Simba. Hello, Simba. Simba's been hanging out underneath the day sofa. That's where he likes to relax. So he's keeping Boo company. Okay, Simba? Okay, you're a good boy. Oh, you want a snack too? Let me give you a snack too. It is 9:10 p.m. and here's Boo. He's relaxing on the bed and he's watching nature videos and he just had a little snack. It is almost 9 a.m. Here's Boo. How you doing, Boo? Doing good? So Boo had a good dinner last night. I don't know what I filmed and what I didn't film, but he had some of the new food that I purchased for him. It's low in phosphorus. We are awaiting his test results today. Hopefully they'll come in because it was a very stressful night. I'm just kind of waiting to see what's going on. He has been drinking more than he usually drinks. And I did buy him a variety of low phosphorus foods to try. And, depending on the test results, we'll see how we're going to proceed with everything. Absolutely worst case scenario, it is renal lymphoma, which is very, very serious. And that happens 6 times more in FIV positive cats than it does in non-FIV positive cats. Here's Simba. Best case scenario would be just some mildly elevated kidney levels in his test results. So I don't know. We have to see. It's just, I feel like it's just been one thing after another. First Stella passing, and then Sammy missing, and then Simba's been vomiting. But thankfully he's been fine. He hasn't been vomiting this week at all. I've been making sure he has food available so he could snack whenever he wants. And I've just been concentrating on poultry for the cats. So they've been eating mostly chicken, quail, and turkey this week. I have to see what happens if I give him like rabbit or beef. Is that going to start him vomiting? But I haven't been ready to do that yet. So, and then of course, Boo, he's been acting okay this morning. I'm just about to play with him again. He's been having some playtime. And I gave him a little bit of a new canned food to try. He wasn't too thrilled with it. He did eat a churu. So, we're just going to see what happens and take everything one day at a time. Come on, you going to play, Boo? Boo, you going to play with me?
What you gonna do? Boo, 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 boo. Boo, boo, boo. What you gonna do? Can I play with you? I have your favorite little toy, a feather on a stick, and we got a scratch and roll, so come and play real quick. Boo, boo, boo. What you gonna do? Boo, 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 boo. Boo, boo, boo. What you gonna do? Can I play with you? I love the way you hunt your toys because you are so cute, and the way you focus on your prey like good hunter cats do. Boo, 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 what you gonna do? Boo, 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 boo. Boo, 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 what you gonna do? Can I play with you? What you gonna do? Boo, 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 boo. Boo, boo, boo. What you gonna do? Can I play with you? Boo, boo, boo. What you gonna do? Boo, 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 boo. Boo, boo, boo. What you gonna do? Can I play with you? I said, can I play with you? Can I play with you? What are you gonna do? Can I play with you?
Who loves this bag? It is 11:20 a.m. Here's Boo and here's Simba. And Boo just came in his room a little while ago. He came in to drink some water, and I was like, Boo, you want to hang out by the open window? So I opened the window for him. He loves this, and Simba loves hanging out with Boo. Now, Simba just threw up a little while ago when I walked in the room with Boo. I was like, oh no, is that vomit on the floor? And sure enough, it was vomit, but there was a big, giant hairball in it, right, Simba? So Simba ate his breakfast, and then he vomited up a big hairball. So I don't mind. He hasn't thrown up in the past 4 days. Today would be like day 5 since he went to the animal hospital. So that's good for him. And also the fact that it was a hairball and it wasn't just like random vomiting. That's reasonable. So we'll see how he does the rest of the day. Now, Boo has some food with him. This is some homemade quail that I pureed up for Boo. He licked some of it before he ate some of it, but he's just really fussy for breakfast today. This is some pureed beef. I think it's Weruva. I think that's the brand. I think it's their steak frites or whatever. It's supposed to be low phosphorus, so I pureed that up for Boo. He really didn't like it. Like 2 licks, that was it. And then this is, I think it's Hill Science Diet. It's like tuna for senior cats. It's supposed to be low phosphorus also. Now, this comes in chunks with gravy. Boo licked up all the gravy and left the chunks. So what I do with the chunks is I puree them with a little chicken broth And a lot of times he'll then eat that, but for some reason today he did not eat that. He took a few licks and then he's like, okay, that's it. So I just put these here so if he wants them, he can come and finish them, or if Simba wants to eat them, because Simba threw up his breakfast, Simba could come and eat these. Boo is so happy. Boo, you're so happy. You're a happy boy, right, Boo? Boo says he's a happy boy. Happy boy, Boo. Happy boy, Boo. You could eat that. He keeps smelling it like he wants to finish it. Oh, that's my paper towel where I was cleaning. I was cleaning with the paper towel. Okay, good boy, Boo. Good boy. It's 12 p.m. I'm checking on Boo because I added a little bit more water to his food. Sometimes he just likes it freshened up a little bit. And he ate a little bit more, so I came in to see how much he ate. I thought he was going to eat maybe the whole thing, but he ate some of it. You're so happy, Boo. What a happy boy. What a happy boy. What a happy boy. I was just researching some cat foods, some other wet foods for him to try, and also some dry foods. So it ends up that the instinct dry food that the cats have been eating is like the highest in phosphorus among like all the dry food. So not good. And it seems that the Origin dry food is relatively high in phosphorus also. So I'm looking at a few other brands right now. I just bought some dry cat food for Boo to try. This is Hill's Science Diet Oral Care Adult. And the reason why I bought this is because it is relatively low in phosphorus, as far as dry cat food goes. And first of all, I can't believe the size of these crunchies. Look how big these are. They remind me of Corn Pops, like the breakfast cereal. Like, these are so big. These are the largest crunchies I've ever seen, like the largest pieces of dry cat food. So I guess that's why they call them oral care, because I guess they figure they're so big that the cats are really going to be forced to crunch on these versus swallow them whole. But I just fed some to Boo, and he's literally swallowing them whole. He loves them. He just devoured like a small plate of them. So I'm happy he likes them, but I don't see how they're going to be like oral care when he doesn't crunch them. What does Sammy do? See, Sammy's crunching them. All right, Sammy's crunching them. Boo just finished his second little plate of these crunchies, and I honestly don't think he's crunching them. He's just swallowing them whole. But he's enjoying them, so I'm going to give him one more little plate because he really didn't eat much breakfast. So if I put a few on his food, then he has to lick the food to kind of get to them. This is basically a test. Or is he just going to leave them there? Is he going to abandon the mission? All right, he just got one. I tried to break one like with my fingers, but they're hard. They're like hard like rocks. And I was looking at all of the ingredients in the Hill's Science Diet dry cat food. They put soybean oil in like almost all of them, but this one doesn't have the soybean oil. This does have grains in it. It has like whole wheat. It also has some corn. But the goal right now is to, see what Boo's willing to eat. He hasn't been eating crunchies recently. He's been off of them. But because he's been really picky with his eating, I'm just trying to make sure he gets enough calories in. All right, good job, Boo. Hopefully he'll continue to enjoy these and it's not just like a one-off thing. I also bought the cats some cat grass. I figured both Boo and Simba would enjoy it. So when I was checking out at PetSmart, like the cat grass that they had on display looked old. Like it was really long and there was like yellowing around the edges. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to get it. And then when I was just about to pay, I looked over and then they had a whole like shopping cart full of absolutely fresh cat grass that they have not even put out yet. So I went and I grabbed one and that's what the cats are getting. If you're ever going to buy cat grass, because it is expensive to buy it fully grown already, always look for pointy tips on the end. Look for nice green blades of grass. And you don't want yellowing, you don't want browning, you don't want grass that looks dried out. So hopefully they'll enjoy this. It is 5 p.m. Here's Boo and Simba. Boo's been hanging out by the open window. And he ate a few more of these pieces of dry food. And I don't think he ate more of that, but I gave them some cat grass that I bought. They've been munching on that. Here's Simba. They have such a good time together in this room. I wish Splash would join them. This is like turning into a VIP lounge in the daytime, because this is really the best room in the house, like during the day, because it gets so much sun, and the cats have a lot of room by the open window. Oh, you knock that over. And they have cat towers and shelves to lay on, and this really comfortable day sofa, and they have water and litter and food and everything they need. So this is always like the best room of the house. And I'm happy Boo is so happy in this room, and Simba also. So I just got to get Splash in here. Splash is in my bedroom. So I still have not gotten Boo's test results back because I called the vet's office this afternoon. I waited until about 3 p.m. to see if they were going to call me, but they didn't. So I called them, and I found out that they're still waiting on the results of the blood test and the urine test. They got the fecal test back, and it came back negative, which I didn't think Boo had any parasites, but just to be certain, it's good to check, because the cats do eat raw food. The cats have never gotten parasites from the raw food that they eat. But so now what's happening is, Boo went to the vet yesterday, had the blood drawn, had a urine sample taken, and today's the next day, and we still don't have the test results. And we have to wait like 3 more days from now to get test results, like at the earliest, unless they happen to come in over the weekend. But I don't think the vet ever checks over the weekend because he doesn't work on weekends. So we're probably going to get the results 4 days after the tests. Boo's going to drink a little bit more water. And so this just kind of confirms my decision that I made with regards to Stella by not waiting overnight to take her to the vet appointment, but to take her to the emergency room instead, because I knew that if I waited overnight and took her to the vet, we were not going to get the test results right away. We would have to wait at least a day to get the results, sometimes 2 days to get the results. And, for Stella, that would have been 3 extra days because, that's counting the day she would have went to the vet and actually had the tests. And when Simba went to the animal hospital earlier this week, and we had to wait 6 hours there, 6 hours and 20 minutes for our visit there, that confirmed to me also why I made the decision to take Stella to the other emergency room. So what the 2 vet appointments did this week was really confirm to me why I made the decision to take Stella to the emergency room. It was because of my experiences in the past at the animal hospital with the ridiculously long wait times, and also with the vet, and the fact that they don't get the test results right away. So it's very unfortunate that when I took Stella to the emergency room, it was just full of incompetent and negligent vets, and that's where the problem stands. The problem does not stand with my decision to take her there. The problem stands with the negligent employees that work there. Look at Sammy. She's hanging out by the back door. So today, I actually sat outside on the lounge chair for maybe half hour, 40 minutes, because I really needed some vitamin D. Right, Sammy? For my mood. And it was so funny because I was reading a book, and then all of a sudden I look up, and Ox is laying on the patio. He's looking at me. I feel like he really likes hanging out with me because I've noticed it twice now. When I lay on the lounge chair outside, I'll look, and he'll also be laying on the patio just looking at me. It is 8:23 a.m. Here's Boo. Good morning, Boo. We're all still really sleepy in this house. I woke up a little while ago, but I was just laying in bed, and it's been a rough morning. The mornings are always the worst part of the day. and like it's cloudy out. It's supposed to be like 85 degrees today, which is crazy, but we're also supposed to get like rain and thunderstorms. So I have a lot to do today. I have to do a lot of like cleaning and organizing because tomorrow's Easter and I am having some family members over for Easter. So there's a lot to do today. Here's Simba. So Simba jumped on my bed this morning and I gave him a whole bunch of pets and we fell asleep for a little while. And I'm really missing Stella just because she made things like easier to get through the day. Obviously everything was easier because I wasn't dealing with like grief and anxiety when she was here, but she just had a way about her to keep everything moving along as far as our days goes. And I know I just posted a video about that. I just posted a video yesterday about how Stella, was really in charge of like all the cats and in charge of our schedule for the day. And, it really did make things easier and it really did make this house run smoother with regards to like all the cats. So I definitely feel that loss. Right, Simba? Simba says he's doing good. He says he's doing good. What I would like to do today is get Boo to eat mostly wet food today. So yesterday I tried out the new crunchies with him and he really enjoyed them. But he was drinking water like 3 or 4 times last night. So I definitely want to only give him small amounts of those. I definitely want to make sure he's eating more wet food. So the plan is to try more wet food like in the morning. I'm going to try like new wet food when I give him a meal. And then when I give Boo a meal, first I'm going to try like the homemade raw food, see if he'll eat it. And then if he doesn't eat that, then I'm going to try a new wet food. Then if he doesn't eat that, then I'll go to the one wet food that he really likes right now, which is the wellness morsels. So I'm just trying to balance, getting food into him, getting calories into him, and then also, finding food that he'll eat and making him feel like a little bit more better. Like we still don't have the test results, so I don't know exactly what's going on with him. Right, Boo? Right, Boo? Right, Boo? Right, Boo? I was really hoping to get the test results yesterday because I feel like once I know more about what they are, like I'll have less anxiety about it. Like honestly, if this happened several months from now, I feel like I would have been like restored enough and have gone through enough recovery that it would not affect me the way that it's affecting me. But because it's just like so soon, and my body, just when I thought my body's finally getting back to some kind of normalcy, this happens again. And it's not Boo's fault. It's not Boo's fault. It's just, bad timing. But we love Boo, right, Boo? There's a new salamander video for cats that just came out today. I just put it on for Boo. He was watching it for a little while, but I got to do something about this camera. Every time I turn the camera on, then the cats change their behavior. I got to go back to the other camera that I was using. Why is nobody playing with me? Want this one? Want this one? Nobody wants to play. Here we go. Simba, what is that about? What is that about, Simba? Okay, you move back here then. It is 4:20 p.m. Here's Boo and Simba. They're relaxing here in Boo's room. The window's wide open. It's a beautiful day today. Although it's not really sunny, it's kind of hazy out. But that's what's been going on. So I gave Boo one of the Wellness Morsels pouches. He already had one earlier today. He had a chicken with chicken liver, which seems to be his favorite. So I bought some more. They're on sale, and I was wondering if he would eat other flavors. So this is the chicken and turkey. You want to finish it? No? You want to finish it? So what I do is I give it to him with the morsels, and then he licks all the juice, and then I take the morsels with a little bit of water and I put them in a blender and puree them. Normally he'll eat all this up, but for some reason he didn't want to, but that's fine because he already had a full one for breakfast. These are some more of the oral care crunchies. I guess he didn't want them today. How you doing, Boop? How you doing, Boop? This is some raw beef that I gave him. He didn't want that. This is some raw chicken that I gave him. He didn't want that. And these are some other crunchies that I bought today. These are the Bench and Field crunchies. Simba ate some of these, but Boo did not want these. It is 4:45 p.m. Here are Sammy and Ringo. And Nancy's on top of the armoire. And I just made a compilation of Easter videos of Easter memories of the cats through the years. And I realized that the last time I really filmed anything for the Easter holiday was in 2021. So I went looking back through, the past 3 years to see what was going on. So what happened was in 2022, Ditto passed away in the middle of March. So when Easter rolled around, I really was not in, the right mood or mindset to be filming, Easter videos with the other cats. And then later that year, the Lucky Seven showed up, and then I had to have all of them trapped, spayed, and neutered. And the vlogs got really behind. The vlogs got behind by 2 months at that point. So around Easter time of that year, the vlogs were still really behind. I was trying to catch up with everything. And so that would have been 2023, why I don't have an Easter video for 2023. And then last year, 2024, I don't have an Easter video because that's when I was just working around the clock in that board of directors situation I was in and trying to get myself out of. It's kind of a shame that I didn't film anything for the holiday over the past 3 years. And it makes me, really think about that because in 2022, I didn't film one because Ditto had passed away. And, honestly, right now, with everything that's going on, I'm not in the mood to film an Easter video this year. I have to get the house cleaned up. By tonight, it's already almost 5 o'clock. I only have a few more hours to get everything organized and clean. So it's not like I even have time unless I filmed it tomorrow and posted it tomorrow. But, with Stella passing away and then all the drama with Sammy and now Boo waiting on his test results, I'm not really in a holiday celebrating mood, but it makes me think of, the saying that life is for the living. So we need to kind of push on and make the best of things. And maybe tomorrow I will try to film something for Easter. I don't know, because I really wish I filmed something in 2022, in 2023, in 2024. But for various reasons, I didn't. But anyway, that's just what's going on today. I'm making myself something to eat for dinner and just taking a little break from cleaning right now. It's about 8:20 p.m. and I just gave Boo an Easter treat. So this is the new triple feeder that I got for him. And I put 3 different types of crunchies in it. And the question is he going to eat the crunchies? You gonna get crunchies out of it, Boo? So in the past, Boo like loved his crunchy feeder. But what happened was over time, like a whole bunch of dry cat food got stuck in the base of it and I couldn't get it out, and I don't know, it just wasn't working properly. And one of the levers on it broke, so I was like, I'll just get a new one. So I found it on Amazon. I got Boo a new one. And I'm like, tomorrow's Easter. Let me see if he'll eat some crunchies out of it, because, you know, he hasn't had an appetite for crunchies today. I put the 3 types of crunchies in there. We have some of the Blue Wilderness crunchies for seniors. We have the other oral care crunchies, and then we have some whole paws crunchies. So I'm hoping he'll use it and eat some crunchies out of it. Simba's laying next to it. I'm getting ready to feed the cats soon. I'm still cleaning and organizing, so I just put the Lucky 7 downstairs so everyone can relax. I need to fill up the water bowls. It's almost 10 p.m. This is what's going on the play rug. All of this food is like left over from attempts to get Boo to eat something for dinner. So what he's been doing is taking like 5 licks of whatever I give to him and then just not eating the rest of it. So there's all different kinds of food here. This is actually some roasted chicken from dinner. This was Splash's plate right here. These are some crunchies. This is some fussy cat chicken in gravy. This over here is actually some pureed shrimp. Boo ate like 1 or 1.5 shrimps, and then he left everything on the plate. I was like, okay, you want me to puree it? But then he didn't eat it. This is some wellness tuna morsels, which he licks all of the gravy off of. Then what I do is puree them. Then he eats some of that, but he doesn't eat enough of it. This is some Friskies, Tasty Treasures. He didn't really eat it. And then this is some of the Science Diet Oral Care Crunchies that I've soaked in water. He licked some of that. So, yeah, I mean, he ate better for breakfast than he did for dinner. Oh, I should also mention that he had some ham. So today's Easter. We had some ham with our breakfast. And I normally don't give the cats ham, but I was curious to see if he would eat any. And he ate 2 small pieces of ham. The pieces were like, maybe like little 1-inch square pieces of ham. I didn't want to give him too much, but he devoured that. So he has an appetite when it's something that he's interested in. But for some reason, he doesn't want any of this food. So here's Boo, and he had an absolute ball today. Like, Boo had so much fun today. Oh, and look, you could see this is where he was shaved when they took a urine sample, I believe. So anyway, Boo had such a good time today. He really enjoyed himself. He was hanging out near the open window in his room, near an open window in the living room. He was playing with toys. He was hanging out with his grandma and his grandpa, and he just had a really great time today. Like, he was acting absolutely perfectly normal. So it's just going to be really interesting to see what happens as far as his test results go, and what we could do to get him to eat better, because he's acting absolutely normal except when it comes to food, and then he's just not eating. I mean, he's eating a little bit. It's just a very big challenge to get him to eat enough food. So I have to also make sure that the security camera in the living room is on all night. For some reason, it wasn't on last night. So when I checked to see like who ate what overnight, I couldn't see because there was no footage. So before I go to sleep, I have to make sure that that is actually on. It's 8:45 a.m. and here's Boo. Good morning, Boo. Boo had an early breakfast today. He had some turkey baby food with supplements mixed in. I added probiotics. I added wheatgrass powder. I added a multi-glandular blend. And he had little tiny, tiny pieces of Easter ham on top. And that's really what enticed him to eat. He also had a few crunchies. Not a whole lot, but I'm happy he ate his breakfast. Right, Boo? Right, Boo, right, Boo, right, Boo. Right, Boo, right, Boo, right, Boo. You're a good boy, Boo. You're a good boy, Boo. You're relaxing now? You're relaxing? Okay, you relax. Okay, you relax. Here's Splash. I was gonna pet him, but you don't want any pets right now? Here's Simba. Good morning, Simba. Simba jumped on my bed this morning. I was already awake, so that was good. And he got lots of pets, right, Simba? Simba got lots of pets. Don't you want any breakfast? He had a little tiny bit of crunchies this morning. But Simba's doing really good. Right, Simba? You're doing really good. It is 9:29 a.m. I'm here with 3 boys, Boo, Splash, and Simba. And we were having some playtime. Well, I was having some playtime with Boo here. Then Simba decided he's going to lay here. So he was kind of blocking like the wand toys. And then Splash just showed up. So I was like, okay, this is really cute. Now we got 3 cats. So we're going to have a little bit of playtime right now. Boo loves his little baby wands. And he loves it when you put it underneath the scratcher note. And he loves his bag. He loves his bag. Splash, what do you want to play with? You want to play with the feather? The feather? It's 7:30 a.m. There's Simba. Oh, and here comes Boo. Boo woke up. There's Boo. Boo's sleeping in a cat tower. And this is all the food that was left overnight. Boo ate some about 4 o'clock in the morning. And the reason why I know that is because I slept here on the sofa last night and I got a really good night's sleep. At least I felt like I got a really good night's sleep. So what happened was last night I laid down on the couch, I don't know, maybe around like 10 p.m., 10:30 p.m. And I wanted to just like watch a little bit of TV. And I just got so relaxed and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm so relaxed. I'm just going to sleep here. So I grabbed some blankets. And that's what I did. And I slept so good there. And then I woke up just briefly around 2 a.m., but I fell right back asleep. And then I woke up again around 4 a.m. and someone was eating. And I was like, oh, I wonder who that is. Is that Boo? But I didn't want to like disturb anyone, so I didn't move. But they were eating for a little while. And then Boo jumped on me. And I was like, oh, it must be Boo because he was the one in the room. And when he jumped on me, I didn't hear the eating anymore. So then what I did was I confirmed it on the security cameras. So I was like, okay, at least he ate something overnight, which is good. But he didn't go back and eat anymore. He just relaxed the rest of the day. But he seems really happy right now. You happy, Boo? Are you happy, Boo? Are you happy, Boo? This is the bowl I believe he was eating. And then this, and I believe this was baby food. I think. I don't know. There's like so many bowls here, but I think that's what this was. This was some beech nut beef baby food, but then I mixed in supplements with it. Boo is also eating some crunchies last night. There's 2 different types of crunchies in this bowl. Someone was eating some of the leftover food here. This had some leftover Earthborn Holistics Monterey medley on it. And then there's just some crunchies here. Now, I know at some point Simba munched on some crunchies and Boo did, and Splash did also. Is Boo gonna eat? You hungry, Boo? Want to eat something? Look at all this food. Look at all this food. Want these? There's so much to choose from. Maybe he wants some fresh food. Oh, he has a feather on his leg. Here's Boo. He looks so handsome today, and he just got brushed with this groom genie. He loves this thing. The only thing, it doesn't really collect a lot of cat hair, but with these bristles, I feel like it gives him a really good massage, and that's what he loves about it. And so he's been enjoying this. And I like the shape of this. This side here is like perfect for running along his spine. Right, Boo? But Boo loves it everywhere. Boo loves it everywhere. Right, Boo? I was looking into acupressure points on a cat. Maybe there's like something that could help him get more of an appetite. And they say for an appetite, it's this point right here, like right above his nose, and you want to like stroke it like 20 times like this. So I did that last night, quite a while before he ate, like at 4 a.m. But I don't know if it had any effect on that. And I just did it to him again, but he doesn't want to eat anything right now. These are the wellness morsels that he devoured the other day. But he normally just licks the gravy and then leaves the solids. And then I put the solids in like a little blender for him, make like a puree, and then he ate the solids. But for the past few days, he hasn't been eating the solids. So what I did today is I just mashed it all together with a fork, just to make like smaller bits. And he licked up part of the gravy. But there's still gravy here, and he obviously didn't eat most of it. So I also put him on the scale this morning, and he weighs 13.5 pounds, which is the same that he weighed last week when he was at the vet's office. So that's good. Even though he's being super finicky, hopefully he's getting enough calories. Boo loves this toy. They had this at PetSmart. It was like $2. And then this toy, this little wand. Boo likes anything with feathers. Go get it. So here's what I've been doing. I take this and I put it on a stick. So if I take this and put it on a stick, then Boo likes it until he gets it off. It is 1:15 p.m. and here's Boo. He's laying so nice here in the corner in some shade. It's really hot outside right now. I was just sitting outside for a little while. I'm going to go back out, but I needed to get some water. So Boo did not really want to eat breakfast today, so he ate some food at like 4 in the morning. And then this morning, like he's doing the thing where all he wants to do is take a few licks of whatever I give him, but he doesn't want to eat anything. What's going on, Boo? I still have not heard back from the vet regarding the tests. And this is what's going on here. So I had to run to the supermarket to pick up a few things. So I bought a few new things for Boo to try. So in this blue bowl is some of the new Temptations wet cat food. Boo licked it once, and then he's like, yeah, I'm not going to eat it. Then this is the wellness morsels. He had a little tiny bit of that this morning. This is some of the beech nut beef baby food with some supplements mixed in. He didn't want to eat that. This is some Tasteful Sensitive Stomach dry cat food. he didn't want to eat that. Then this is Simba's leftover breakfast. As I'm showing you the food, Boo is like rubbing up against my legs. What you doing, Boo? You going to eat some food now? You going to eat some food? Are you hungry? You're not hungry? Why don't you want to eat something? So, he's still acting normal. He's acting like he always does. The only difference is he doesn't want to eat. How you doing, Boo? You okay, buddy? It's nice and cool in this room. It's nice and cool in here, Boo. This room will get a little bit warmer later in the afternoon. Boo, you got the best room in the house. You got the best room in the house, Boo. He keeps thinking about eating something, but then he doesn't want to eat anything. You can eat if you want to, Boo. You can eat if you want to. You can eat any of the food that you want to eat, Boo. It's all there for you. You don't have to wait for anyone else. I'm just going to drink some water. Okay. Here's Boo, and the cats have been getting bottled water for the past few days. So in the orange water bowl, they're getting Crystal Geyser spring water, and they're also getting that in the bowl in my bedroom. And in the kitchen, they're getting, actually in the kitchen, they're still getting the filtered water in one of the water bowls. And then downstairs, for the Lucky 7, they've just been getting filtered water. Because the water bowls up here are pretty big. So for me to put bottled water in there, we're going through about half a gallon a day just of water for the cats. So I'm just going to see, he seems to like it better. It's been a few days now, and I bought a few more gallons of water for them. I also bought a few bottles of Evian. So I think when I mix water into their food, I'm going to use the Evian, see how that goes. And maybe try that in one of the water bowls, in the small water bowl in the kitchen, see if they like that better. It is 6:10 p.m. and here's Boo. How you doing, Boo? And I just got off the phone with the vet. And we went over Boo's blood test and his urine test, and his numbers are not good at all. He has elevated creatinine, and his BUN numbers are elevated, and his phosphorus is elevated, and he's slightly anemic. And he has protein in his urine, and basically he's in kidney failure. And the vet said the next thing to do would be to take Boo into an animal hospital, and then put him on IV fluids for several days to get his numbers down. And he said that's tricky because, with Boo being on IV fluids, that could bring his red blood cells even lower. And obviously this is going to be very expensive again because he's probably going to be in the hospital for a few days. So that's what I have to do. I'm supposed to bring Boo in tonight because he said it's better not to wait. But after what happened to Stella, I am scared to bring Boo in. Boo's acting completely normal other than not wanting to eat. But at least we have the test results. And, I have been researching kidney issues in cats, and a lot of people say their cat does a whole lot better after being corrected, on fluids. So after my experience with Stella, at least I know, which animal hospital to take Boo to. It's just really scary, obviously, leaving a cat in an animal hospital, anytime you do that. Right, Boo? Right, Boo? So what I'm going to do is see if Boo will want to eat anything. I made him some salmon, some baked salmon. Maybe he'll eat some of that. I'm going to have to, scoop the litter boxes, get the cats fed, at least give them their dinner. Probably not going to see if they'll eat it. I don't know. I got to get myself ready because I could be there for 5 or 6 hours again. I don't know. But that's the situation. I just want Boo to, feel better. And, I'm going to do everything that I can to get him through this. Okay, right, Boo? Right, Boo? I do everything I can to get you through this. Right, Boo? Okay? Good? Good boy? You're a good boy, Boo. You're a good boy, Boo, and I love you so much, okay, buddy? Okay, so here's what's gonna happen, Boo. I'm gonna take you to the animal hospital, and they're gonna check you out, and they're gonna treat you. They're gonna give you fluids, okay, Boo? They're gonna make you feel so much better, Boo, okay? They're gonna give you fluids, and they're gonna make you feel much, much better, okay, Boo? You're gonna be a good boy, okay, buddy? Okay, buddy, Boo? You're gonna be a good boy. You're gonna feel better. Okay. I'm gonna scoop the litter, give everyone food, and then we're gonna go, okay, Boo? It is 6:50 p.m. and I don't want to jinx anything, but I'm kind of back to being strangely calm again when it comes to bringing a cat to a vet. You know, I've had so much anxiety recently, but right now I'm not feeling it. I don't want to jinx anything by saying that, but that's what's going on. I just feel like, you know, I have to bring Boo in. This is something that has to be done, and it's going to be the best thing for him. It's really the only option at this point. You know, I talked to the vet about bringing Boo to the animal hospital, and, you know, he agreed which one I should bring him to, and I'm going to hope for the best. I mean, I've been reading up a lot about this situation, and there's so many different variables in play. So Boo could potentially feel a lot better after he's, you know, on IV fluids for a while. And then we could take it from there. I mean, that's my goal. My goal is to make him feel better and then to try just to manage his condition and improve his condition. Some people say that like the original blood test results could be worse than they are because if a cat is dehydrated, it's going to make all of the levels look worse than they are. And I honestly think Boo was dehydrated when I brought him in because that's why, you know, he was constipated, he hadn't pooped, and that's why when they gave him the subcutaneous fluids, he pooped on the way home. So, you know, that would indicate he was dehydrated. So I'm just hoping for the best right now. That's all I could do, really. All I can do is really hope for the best. And the fact that Boo is acting normal, other than the fact that he doesn't want to eat, has me very hopeful. You know, he appears to be a strong cat. Something Grandma Farrell said the other day, like Grandma was playing with him and she's like, you know, he's so strong because he had claws at the time. That was before he went to the vet. It was like a week or two before he went to the vet. And she's like, I'm afraid he's going to just like, you know, tear me to shreds. And I was like, oh no, don't worry. And then he had, you know, his nails cut at the vet 5 days ago. So, you know, he's happy, and he's acting normal. He just doesn't want to eat. So my main concern right now is getting him into a carrier. So I'm going to make the music louder or put the music on in this room also. I still need to scoop the litter, put out food for everyone. I just packed a bag for myself with waters and juice. Actually, I need to find some kind of snack to put in it. I'll put some kind of snack in my bag. I just ate like a piece of cake. I'm really not like hungry for dinner, you know, just because of the situation. So maybe I'll see what kind of snacks I have that I could bring with me. And I want to spend some time with Boo. And then we're going to go. Right, Boo? Boo. Let's look at Boo. Let's look at Boo. Boo, you look so good. Boo, you look so handsome. Boo, you're so handsome. Okay, you gotta stay up there. Boo, you can't jump. Don't jump around. Don't jump around, Boo. Okay, you're doing good, buddy. Boo, you're doing so good. What a handsome boy. I love your hat. Boo, I love your hat. What a beautiful bonnet. You can't jump. No jumping. No jumping, Boo. Don't jump around, Boo. No jumping. Okay? No jumping. Okay, Boo? What you doing, boo? What you doing, boo? Boo, boo, boo. What you doing, boo? Okay, come on. You look so good. You look good, boo. You look good, okay? You'll be a good boy. Okay, good boy.
Thank you for watching this Lucky Ferals video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you'd like me to post more videos, and please make sure to check out these other videos that were selected especially for you.